What we doing tonight, chat? We live? Yeah. I'm live.
No, we started with nothing in humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no, I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it. I fit the description, I'm the definition. I'm what they prescribe like she seen a physician. She wanna ride cause she seen how we getting it. Big ol' booty, she my passenger princess. She like to argue, she don't like to listen. She bougie and toxic, she fine and she picky. Pretty and sedity, she get recognition. Matching nails and toes, man, she always French tip 'em. Parking lot pimpin' when we in the city. Don't ask about twine, she twerk on the engine. She eat the dick in the car cause it's tinted. She pay me attention like she get commission. Pimpin' CEO, so I give her the business. She ride on the dick like she doing some fitness. She make the dick disappear like she magician. She like to swallow, man, she love when I finish. Having motion, man, you know I got plenty. Bitches choosing cause they know that I'm winning. See some thousands, now I'm after some millions. So all my houses come with chandelier ceilings. Pillow talking, man, that shit just ain't in me. Keep it pimpin', I can't do no pretending. Jealous hearted, man, you know I ain't with it. Cuffin' hoes, I can't do no commit. No, we started with nothing in humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no, I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it.
Yeah, chat. Double tap the screen, shut alive out. What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap the screen, shut alive out. Drop them plugs in the comments, man. Drop them locks in the comments. Y'all lock, we in intro mode. I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game to win. I love, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. Mine still felt like it was yesterday. How we're moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spend some night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Coming back, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first, eat it last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean. Temporary feelings mixed with temporary pleasures. All these temporary moments and these temporary treasures. Temporary circumstances to temporary measures. Temporary friends and even temporary schedules. Temporary smiles and temporary goals. Temporary women sliding on temporary poles. Temporary comments and temporary trolls. I just pray that God bless me. Ain't no temporary souls. I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game to win. I love, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. Mine still felt like it was yesterday. How we're moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spend some night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Coming back, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first, eat it last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean. What we doing tonight, chat? What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap the screen, shut alive out, man. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
That's what I'm talking about. Hold on.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
Oh, man. Double tap the screen, shut alive out. What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap the screen, shut alive out. What we doing tonight, chat? They saying more details emerge. Lord, my mic on. Yeah, more details emerge. An attempt on Trump's life. What really happened? And we got a debate over Trump's second turn between Andrew Wilson and I believe Owen Schroeder. Chad, we got an action-packed episode. We got Caroline Leavitt doing a press conference. I thought she was done. Didn't she say the last one was the last one until she had the baby? Like I said, we got the Owen Schroeder and the Andrew Wilson debate. China's real estate market just crashed to a 20-year low, losing a fourth of its value. So we got China's residential property prices are back to below where they were in 2005. They're cheaper than they were in 2005. We talked about China ripping the Band-Aid off with Evergrande and commercial real estate, but it's looking like their residential property prices are down as well. We got this one guy who said he survived MK Ultra. His name is Max Lowen. Her name is Max Lowen. She's describing what she saw in the underground labs beneath the Vatican. She's saying there were embryo experiments, captive women, and all kind of shit like that. Also, we got Jason Whitlock coming out talking about Chud the Builder. I don't know what the hell Jason Whitlock is talking about, but if we got time, we'll get into that. We got Cash Patel, and I believe Blanche did a presser regarding the new details emerging at the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. What else do we have? Couple miscellaneous clips. They're reporting that Kid Rock flew to Fort Belvoir this morning on his private jet and took a little joyride on 2 Apache helicopters with War Secretary Pete Hegseth, according to multiple Army sources. This is backed up by flight data. They're saying the Apaches typically have 2 pilots, but they went up with 1 each. So each of those, I guess Hegseth and Kid Rock could both be in the co-pilot seat. Yeah, that's crazy. King Charles officially becomes the first reigning British king to visit the U.S. since 1939. Also, Congressman Eric Burlison confirms the FBI is actively stonewalling Congress regarding the highly suspicious deaths of 13 top U.S. nuclear and aerospace scientists. The Trump administration intelligence agencies are covering up a massive scandal, is what they're reporting. Trump has discussed Iran's nuclear proposal with his national security team. The White House says that you will hear from them soon. The White House is reporting that you'll hear from them soon in regards to Iran's nuclear proposal. They're saying the important details are the White House confirmed Trump personally met with his national security team to discuss Iran's proposal today. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt states she would not say the U.S. is considering Iran's proposal, but confirms Trump's discussed it with the team. She also added, you will hear from Trump soon about Iran. The clear signal yet. The White House simultaneously confirms Trump's red lines have been clear throughout, suggesting any response will be conditional. At the UN, the U.S. formally calls Coalition of Maritime Freedom on Hormuz. The diplomatic and military pressure tracks are running in parallel. Oil markets reacted instantly. Brent crude surged to $4 a barrel to a 3-week high on the news of stalled Iran talks. Okay, so we'll get into that as well a little bit later. Oh yeah, I did see that video of the guy at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. One guy was just recording the whole time, like everything's going on there, rushing Trump off. He just is recording. Another guy was sitting there just damn eating. Everything's going on. He didn't move. He just kept eating. In other news, 22 Buddhist monks were arrested in Sri Lanka in a Sri Lankan airport after attempting to smuggle 250 pounds of marijuana. 250 pounds the Buddhist monks were trying to smuggle into Sri Lanka. A senior Iranian official says the U.S. Blah, blah, blah. We'll go into that in a minute. The U.S. and Japan are planning a joint dual-use drone cooperation to counter China. What else is going on? They're saying that Cole Allen booked a $3,000 a night hotel months ago for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, even before it was confirmed that Trump would be there, which is really crazy. Trump also fired the entire National Science Board today, and Putin announced that Russia will do everything that serves in Iran's interest. We seen the foreign minister go over there, shake Putin's hand. They had a meeting, as well as King Charles came to the United States today. Chat, double tap the screen. Let's get into this miscellaneous clip right here. Then we'll get straight into the news and circle back around. Chat, double tap the screen. Share the live out. I want to know, do y'all believe in Project Looking Glass? What Candace Owens was talking about. They said Gaddafi had the technology. They went in, tried to get it from Gaddafi. They said he sent it to Saddam Hussein. That's why we went over there for that. Chat, do y'all believe in Project Looking Glass? Let's see what's going on.
The Iraq War had, to a large degree, the mission of capturing a looking glass technology that was dug up in Sumer, which was originally in the possession of Gaddafi in Libya, which is why they attacked Libya. Gaddafi got rid of it and gave it to Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was using this technology, viewing the future. The U.S. government went in after him because they felt that the fate of the...
So I want to start right there. How did Gaddafi get it? That's what I want to know. How did Gaddafi get the technology? How the fuck did Gaddafi get it? And how did he get it to Saddam Hussein? Like, nobody asked how Gaddafi got it. They're talking about Gaddafi has this Project Looking Glass that can peer into the future. How? How did Gaddafi get it?
The world was at stake because if they did not capture this technology and get it back and deconstruct it, that the Earth would have a pole shift. But when you actually...
You say he didn't say Gaddafi? He did say Gaddafi.
Degree, the mission of capturing a looking glass technology that was dug up in Sumer, which was originally in the possession of Gaddafi in Libya, which is why they attacked Libya. Gaddafi got rid of it and gave it to Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was using this technology, viewing the future. The U.S. government went in after him because they felt that the fate of the world was at stake, because if they did not capture this technology and get it back and deconstruct it, that the Earth would have a pole shift. But when you actually decipher these letters, it means the doctrine of the convergent timeline paradox. Here's the problem. You look through time with this device, and when you hit 2012, everything goes perfectly white. As you get closer and closer to 2012, starting in around 1980, a very strange thing has been happening when they use the looking glass. There is an interlacing of images. So right now, imagine...
You said this video was at the Hilton too, Teflon. What's up, Teflon? What's up, Big Niche Lala? What's up, J Bo? Let me shout out to the Mod Squad. What's up, OG Yosemite? What's up, Delphine and Lowry? I see y'all in here. What's up, Crypto and Sir Bob? Y'all, everybody hit the like button. We got to get to 100 likes right quick. Double tap that screen. Go to the top, hit the 3 dots. Let's get in the algorithm, baby.
Imagine that if I had this slide on half the time, and then the other half of the time, there was an image of like a face.
Mud Butters, what
And
up?
if I interlace them slowly, then maybe every second it goes from here to the face to here to the face. Then as it speeds up, it gets faster and faster to the point that if it were complex images, you couldn't make out one from the other because they're flip-flopping so fast, okay? That's called interlacing, and the frequency of the interlacing gets higher and higher as you go towards 2012. So anytime that they try to look at, like, or they used to try to look because they're not using them anymore, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, bam. It's so interlaced that they have a whole server farm of computers just to deconstruct the 2 images and be able to see what they're looking at in the future.
So what else came around 2012, 2010? That's when the quantum computer came. Remember, he just said they had all of these computers trying to look around and deconstruct what was going on because it was flashing. I guess a superposition, where it's ones and zeros. That's the way I can only explain it the way he's saying it. So I guess around that time is when they switched to the quantum computer. But y'all remember back, didn't Trump say back in the 80s, why do these time travelers keep coming trying to unalive me? I'm just a realtor. Didn't he say that back in the 80s, chat? Double tap the screen, shut a live out. I gotta cut the fan on in here, bro.
So again, this is what they're using. This is one of the main ones they're using, the Orion Cube as they call it, or the cube. And also it's being used with Looking Glass. But what's going on with 2012? Well, here's another very interesting thing. We have multiple parallel futures that we can choose. And 2012 literally does represent create your own reality time. It has everything to do with what do you expect is going to happen. This is where thoughts becoming reality really takes on a whole new meaning in a way that you've never heard of before.
All right, chat, y'all double tap the screen, shut the live out, man. I'm trying to plug up this damn fan. Hold on. You said the sound is obtuse. What is the obtuse? Chat, can y'all hear me, man? Are we back? What the hell is going on, man? Hold on, man. Did I pop back up in this thing? Chat, double tap the screen, shut the live out. We got to get back into the damn algorithm, man. I was trying to plug this fan up because I was sweating, chat. I was a little hot, man. I'm like, damn, I got to plug this fan. I guess I knocked the Wi-Fi out. I was hot, bro. I'm sorry, man. I was hot. Shit, I guess I'm getting a little big, bro. I was hot, man. All right, Chad, let's get back into it, man. Let's get into the press conference. My bad, man. We had some technical difficulties. I'm over here all hot and fat and shit, man. I had to get that shit together, Chad. I was getting a little sweat. You know that sweat get the building up around your neck and shit. You like, yeah, it's a little hot in here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Later today, President Trump and the First Lady will welcome King Charles and Queen Camilla for a state visit here at the White House. First Lady Melania Trump has led all of the preparation for the state visit, which will honor the long-standing and special relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom. What's up, Erica? As I told many of you on Friday afternoon, I thought that would be my last time taking your questions until after my maternity leave. But given the attempted assassination of the president and, quote, top Trump administration officials, as the depraved shooter noted in his manifesto at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday evening, I felt it was prudent to be here today to answer your questions and inform the American people about how the administration is responding to yet another attempt on President Trump's life. Saturday was supposed to be a joyful evening, celebrating free speech and the First Amendment with all of you, members of the press.
Chat, did y'all see what a judge blocked it? They said they asked the judge to let them resume. Damn, did I kick it off again? They asked the judge to let them resume the ballroom, and the judge was like, no, that is not enough justification. That is not enough justification. Did y'all see that, chat?
Instead, the night was hijacked by a crazed anti-Trump individual who traveled across the country to assassinate the president and as many administration officials as possible. This is the third major assassination attempt against President Trump in 2 years. No other president in history has faced such repeated, serious attempts on his life. First and foremost, the President, the First Lady, and everyone in this White House are extraordinarily grateful to the brave law enforcement professionals who sprang into action to apprehend the would-be assassin and keep all of us safe. The President would especially like to express his gratitude to the men and women of the United States Secret Service who acted with the utmost professionalism, courage, and sense of duty. This includes the heroic agent who took a bullet to the chest. Thankfully, he was saved by his bulletproof vest. Minutes after returning here to the White House to the Oval Office, despite—
So this is the thing too, Chad. Have y'all noticed that they're not saying who the Secret Service agent got shot by? They're not saying whether Cole Allen shot him or whether another individual shot him. Have y'all noticed that, Chad? They have not said who shot the Secret Service agent. They just keep saying a Secret Service agent was shot. They're not telling us who shot the Secret Service agent.
fighting Secret Service to try to stay and keep the dinner going on Saturday. Ahead of addressing you here in the briefing room, President Trump was intent on speaking to this brave agent to ensure he was okay, and the agent assured the president that he was. As you know, I was seated next to President Trump and the First Lady when the shots were fired.
Metal Mitten said, for how many guns Americans has, why are y'all such bad shots? I don't know what you talking about, Metal Mitten, because I know somebody who, hey, listen, Metal Mitten, motherfuckers knocking shit down out here where I'm at. I'm in the South. Squirrels, raccoon, deer, anything you can name. Motherfuckers will, I'm telling you, Metal, about 65, 70 yards away, 80 yards away, fuck around, get a Barry 50 cal, knock your ass down from a mile away, man. I don't know what you talking about.
Before Secret Service swiftly moved us to safety backstage. The president's calm in the face of chaos, while yet another individual was trying to take his life, was really remarkable to witness, and it's something I will never forget. President Trump is fearless because he loves this country, and he is willing to put his own life on the line to deliver on the...
See, I'm just gonna be honest, it's a different culture. Now, when we're talking about this assassin or whatever, if he was the shot, like, he's from Cali, he probably didn't grow up in gun culture. They said he had recently purchased the guns and started training. Like, it's a difference between just getting your hands on a gun and growing up with them guns, man. It's a complete difference. Don't get me wrong, you can train, you can be, but when it's secondhand, when it's second nature to you, it's just second nature to you. This guy wasn't, he didn't handle a lot of guns throughout his life.
The promises that he made to the American public who elected him here into the highest office in the land. And while we are blessed to have a fearless president, we should not live in a country where such constant fear of political violence permeates our society every single day. We can and we should have fierce disagreement in this country. As you all know, we disagree often, myself in this role and all of you in the...
I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chad. I know some people right now that'll clear a room out. Man, I'm talking about tactical, sweep the spot right here in the South. Chad, if y'all don't think it's going down like that in the South, y'all might need to take a fucking visit. They'll sweep the whole damn room, clear out every room in the building, man. Instantly.
News media. But those disagreements must remain peaceful. Debating, peaceful protesting, and voting are how we need to settle disagreements, not bullets. Nobody in recent years has faced more bullets and more violence than President Trump. This political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat Party, and even some in the media. This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Teflon. Like, some of this gun culture is some people's lives, not just hunting. I mean being tactical, home defense, all of that shit. Like, this is some people's lives. Like, that's what they do for fun. They go out with the little damn white BB guns and shit, and they practice like they're in wartime, man. They get back to the crib and they clean their guns with their eyes closed and shit. I'm telling you, chat, it's gun culture is some people's lives. They're not bullshitting.
Violence and bring us to this dark moment. Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence. The left-wing cult of hatred against the president and all of those who support him and work for him has gotten multiple people hurt and killed, and it almost did so again this weekend. When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social media and hear in various forums every single day? The answer, if you're being honest...
Yeah, Teflon, I'm gonna have to get with you. A guy that I know, he's starting a security company. He's about to get his first contract too. He's about to get his first contract. I'm not gonna say the store, but yeah, I might have to get with you, Teflon. Maybe you can give him some pointers. Link y'all together.
Honest with yourself is that there is no difference at all. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many. For example, as the First Lady of the United States pointed out this morning, just
Y'all said who would be the next press secretary? Probably Jasmine Crockett or somebody, man. If the Dems win, man, probably put somebody like Jasmine Crockett up there. I'm gonna be honest.
2 days prior to the shooting, ABC's late night host Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband? And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the First Lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night. As President Trump said on Saturday night at this podium, we as Americans must recommit ourselves.
You said who has the highest IQ in the White House? It should be Kash Patel, but shit, I guess that's not ringing true. I don't know. You would think it would be Kash Patel, wouldn't you?
To resolving our differences peacefully.
What's up, Alba?
And uniting around the shared values that make our country great. The deranged lies and smears against the president, his family, his supporters have led crazy people to believe crazy things, and they are inspired to commit violence because of those words. It has to stop. And one more point. Saturday night served as yet another reminder of how important it is to fund the Department of Homeland Security. It is shameful that the United States Congress has kept this vital agency defunded for 73 days, the longest shutdown of a federal agency in U.S. history. The Secret Service is a vital component of DHS. It has been directly impacted by this reckless political gamesmanship. Everyone in this room who was there on Saturday night
Alba talking about you eating some pork, tenderloin, potatoes, and carrots. Where the bread? Alba, where's the bread?
witnessed the heroes of Secret Service and federal law enforcement jump into action in the face of grave danger and uncertainty. Agents put their own lives in harm's way to protect the president, the First Lady, the Vice President, and members of the cabinet. One agent can be seen in video footage literally jumping onto the stage, not knowing where the attacker was or where the bullets were coming from at that point, to place his body in front of the President of the United States. These men and women are heroes. They perform.
See, that's one thing, J-Bo, about the white community. Y'all got some fucking desserts, bro. What the hell is bread pudding? Bread pudding for dessert. Listen, chat, the white community has all kind of desserts, bro. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to bacon and fucking pies and custards and shit, the white community knows it all, bro. What the hell is bread pudding?
Their duties daily, and they have children and families too, and they do it despite the political turmoil surrounding their agency. Make no mistake, this defunding of DHS should be a national scandal. If Republicans defunded DHS and we saw in another attempted assassination on a Democrat president, I would hope that the media coverage would be relentless and unforgiving, and I hope that it continues to be now. With the World Cup, America 250, the 2028 Olympics, and a presidential election all ahead, the Democrats' obstruction is placing an enormous and totally pointless burden on the Secret Service that can get more people killed.
Chat, let's get the likes up. Everyone hit the like button right now. Double tap the screen, go to the top and hit the 3 dots. Make sure the video is liked. We're 20 subscribers away from the next sub goal. What is your favorite dessert, chat? I see y'all talking about toffee, sponge cake, pita bread pudding. Pita bread is that big ass bread. What's your favorite dessert, chat?
Enough is enough.
Jam tart and custard, H-Buster. That sounds like a ass choice. I'm not gonna lie, H-Buster. That sounds like a piss poor choice. Jam tart and custard. That's what you chose? Out of all the sweet shit in this world, out of all the desserts in this world, you want jam tart and what the fuck is that?
There should be no further debate about this. Democrats need to do what President Trump has been calling on them to do for 73 days in a row and fund the Department of Homeland Security, period. This is a national emergency, and every member of Congress needs to put their country over party and get the Department of Homeland Security funded. With that, I will take a few of your questions today. Daniel, thank you for being here. Why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Caroline. The president, Saturday after the assassination attempt came here, he emphasized that law enforcement did their job, keeping everyone safe at dinner. House Speaker Mike Johnson came out and said he believes the president needs greater protection. What is the White House's message to the millions of Americans who wake up here today nervous, uneasy about the safety of the president at events like this and the safety of other cabinet members?
Well, we certainly understand their fears and their worries. As you heard from the president himself, he continues to have trust in the United States Secret Service. As I just said, these are great.
Okay, chat, they say Trump has trust in the Secret Service. Do you guys trust the Secret Service to protect Trump, chat? Yes or no in the chat. Do you guys trust the Secret Service?
Men and women who are doing their jobs and performing their duties honorably. As we all witnessed on Saturday evening, within minutes, the president, the first lady, the vice president, members of the president's cabinet were ushered out of the room.
What is marzipan? See, y'all coming out the woodwork with all these delectables and goodies and shit. Dark chocolate truffles and marzipan. What is marzipan? Marzipan sounds like a prescription. It don't sound like I need to be eating too much marzipan. It sounds like a prescription.
Perpetrator who sought to inflict massive harm, as we all now know with the release of the manifesto on administration officials and the president himself, was stopped at the security perimeter that was set up. He tried to charge through it, as you saw on video, and he was quickly neutralized by Secret Service, and thank God that he was. With that said, obviously the White House is always asking the tough questions and ensuring the safety of the president. I understand there will be a meeting early this week convened by the White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles with top DHS leadership, members of the United States Secret Service, and our own operations team here to ensure the safety and the security of the president, as we do have many of these major events moving forward. So we're always monitoring operations and procedures, always asking the tough questions to ensure the president is safe, and the American people should be assured there's no higher priority for the president and his staff than the president's safety.
Caroline, Friday you said that you thought that gaggle out of the sticks would be your last one before your baby. Back in 2024, when the president had the attempt on his life in Butler, you cut your maternity leave short back then. You're obviously back here today after Saturday. Can you just elaborate a little bit why you felt it was important to be here to bring to the media and talk to the American people from the stand?
Sure. It's sort of crazy timing when you put it that way for both children with 2 assassination attempts against the president. I'm honored to work in this job. I view this job as the president's spokesperson and the White House spokeswoman as public service. It's not just any job. I'm honored to do it, and I'm honored to work and speak on behalf of President Trump, who has faced unprecedented adversity and challenges, and I'm honored to work for him. And again, as I witnessed on Saturday night, just his dogged resolve and determination to get back onto the stage, and he was pushing
hit the like button.
Secret Service and law enforcement to allow him to address, and that really, I think, hopefully gives the country the type of strength that we need. And I certainly know, as his spokeswoman, and I can speak on behalf of all of the staff here at the White House, the president inspires all of us to just keep going and keep fighting every day.
Thanks, Carol.
Thanks, Daniel, and congrats to you on your new baby. He's beautiful. Aisha.
Just from the rhetoric, you mentioned the First Lady and
Yeah, I'm not eating no beans on toast, bro. And that's not a dessert, bro. Beans on toast is not a dessert, bro. Beans on toast might piss me off.
Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's comments were, Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant.
Yeah, if I ask for a dessert, bro, and y'all bring me some beans on toast, I might throw all of this shit over, man. I might flip the table, man. And bring me beans and toast. I'm talking about I want a dessert. I'll flip all this shit over.
Widow. And he said this days before the shooting, but there does seem to be a normalization of rhetoric about assassinating this particular president. How can this administration try to put an end to this?
Well, I think you heard it directly from the president on Saturday night, Aisha, that in his words, we need to recommit ourselves as a country to toning down the rhetoric and to unifying around what makes our country great. That's true of everyone who works in this White House, but as I said, it's also true of everyone who has a voice and a platform across this country, whether you're on television, a podcast host, people listen, and when you have mentally disturbed individuals across the country who are listening to this crazed rhetoric about the president.
So, Chad, do y'all think this guy was actually radicalized by the media? What do y'all think actually radicalized this guy? Do you think it was the mainstream media? Do you think it was too much Twitter? What radicalized this guy right here, Chad? Or was he just crazy to begin with? We're 25 likes away from the next like goal. Everyone double tap the screen right now, Chad. 25 likes away.
Day after day after day, it inspires them to do crazy things. And unfortunately, it's not just the media, it is the entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler. I mean, these are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years. And so many mentally perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major...
Bro, Andrew, you trolling, bro. If you bring some Hawaiian Punch Oreos over here, chat, you can't come back. I promise you, if we're having a cookout, this shit is the barbecue. Y'all in my house right now with your shoes off. If you telling me, Andrew, you brought some Hawaiian Punch Oreos to the function, your ass can't come back. You can hang out tonight, but your ass can't come back. I'm just being honest.
Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month, said, "We are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time." Governor Josh Shapiro said heads need to roll within the administration. Senator Alex Padilla said people are, quote, dying because of fear and terror caused by the Trump administration. Senator Elizabeth Warren, President Trump is making the country look like a, quote, fascist state. Senator Adam...
Yeah, Teflon, I don't know, man. You talking about if you at the cookout, you gonna bring the Afghan food and it's gonna be the most eaten dish. See, Teflon, I'm a little skeptical. When I come to the cookout, I get to asking who brought what. Who cooked that? You know what I'm saying? I don't trust all y'all and all y'all food and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be asking who cooked that. Don't feel bad if I don't eat y'all shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you ain't been around enough. I don't, you know what I mean? Don't feel bad now. But I don't just eat, hey, man, who cooked that? That's me. I'm that guy. Who made it? Who brought that shit?
Schiff saying President Trump using a dictator playbook. Senator Ed Markey calling President Trump a dictator, saying that this administration's actions are authoritarianism on steroids. Governor J.B. Pritzker, never before in my life have I called for mass protest disruptions. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. You have Rep. Presley saying, "We'll see you in the streets." Rep. Monica McIver, a Democrat representative on Capitol Hill, "We will not take this shit from Donald Trump. He thinks he's a dictator. We are at war." These are Democrat elected officials calling for war against the President of the United States and his supporters. I could go on and on, but again, when you have people in positions of power that are saying things like this every single day for years, you are inspiring violence by people who are already mentally ill. And that's what we've seen against this.
All right, we'll do a live poll right now, chat. Everyone hit the like button, double tap the screen. Do y'all think the Democrats incite violence? Do y'all think the Democrats incite violence?
President for far too long.
Yes or no?
Disinformation and misinformation online. There will be bite-sized clips that will go viral to the point where there are Americans in this country that believe that what happened Saturday night was staged. How does this White House tackle that with social media companies out there, whether it's X, Facebook, Instagram? How do they work with these companies to make sure that doesn't get out of control?
It's certainly a good question, Aisha. I don't have tangible answers for you on what we're doing with social media companies.
What's up, Sheila?
What I will say is,
what's up, relaxing?
It's very important to us that we get the truth and the facts about this case and any case out there as quickly as possible to dispel some of that crazy nonsense that you do see running rampant online. And I think the Department of Justice and the FBI thus far have done a good job of disseminating the...
All right, so we got the answer for the Democrats, so let's do the other side. Do the Republicans incite violence, chat, in your opinion? What's up next? Do the Republicans incite violence in your opinion, chat? Yes or no? Everyone hit the like button. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal.
the truth and the facts about this alleged attempted assassin, the perpetrator in this case, and I understand he'll be arraigned in court very soon. You all see that, and the Department of Justice will be giving a briefing and an update later today. So as far as we're concerned, just providing maximum transparency, and hopefully people will believe the truth rather than the lies and the conspiracies that so often do go crazy on social media.
Caroline.
Rachel.
Thanks, Caroline. Does the administration view this as a security failure, or did the protocols work as they were designed?
The president has
What's
said
up,
he believes
AR?
that the protocols worked. Again, you had a perpetrator who tried to breach the security parameter that was set up by Secret Service, and he was running as fast as he could and was immediately neutralized moments later. And again, having been right up there on the stage with the president and the first lady, I can tell you it was seconds before we were told to get down, and it was seconds before we found ourselves in the hold room backstage. It all happened literally within a matter of seconds. The president, the vice president, and the first lady being pulled to safety. That is not.
Okay, y'all saying both sides are violent, both sides are extreme. Okay, so which side is more violent? I see some of y'all are saying the left has all the crazies. Some of y'all are saying only one side started two wars. So who's more violent in your opinion? They said one side started two wars. They said one side has all the crazies.
Not done if there's a lapse. So Secret Service did their jobs well. They communicated with one another to remove the president and the vice president to safety as quickly as they could, and obviously to neutralize the shooter as well. And thank God they did, because if that man was allowed into that ballroom, it would have been a much different scene.
And just one more follow-up on just how the White House could be rethinking security protocols going forward. I mean, we all remember after the attempted assassination in Butler, there were indoor rallies that were held after that. Is that out of the question, changing any additional security protocols when it comes to how the president does these events that are outside of the White House?
I definitely wouldn't say changes are out of the question. I think, again, that it's up to the White House here, and we view it as a great responsibility to ensure the maximum safety of the president and the vice president and the entire cabinet. And so we're always looking for ways to improve security. I think if you just sit here and say everything is perfect all the time, that's not a good way to operate. And so the White House will continue to engage with DHS and with Secret Service to find ways to improve and strengthen security. But as far as
Hey, chat, we're at 43 minutes, man. We need 35 likes before we get to the first hour. We've been doing good. We hit 1,000 likes last night. Let's get to 100 likes before we hit the first hour. Make sure that you double tap the screen and shut a live out.
Saturday night is concerned, the president was satisfied with the response, and he's very grateful to the men and women who provided the response for him and his wife and members of his team.
What's up, Mr. Anderson?
Thanks, Caroline. The president has talked about rescheduling the dinner within 30 days. Does he have a specific venue in mind, and would he consider hosting it at the White House?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have a room big enough here at the White House, which is another point.
So I read a post from a guy on X earlier. He says he's the one that booked that basically set up the dinner. He said he ordered like 188 bottles of wine, and out of that 188 bottles of wine, 147 of them were stolen after this happened. They said after the shooting went on and they left the Hilton and went back to the White House, 147 of those wine bottles were unaccounted for. Unaccounted for. They got videos of people tucking them in purses inside of suits and shit.
Point to be made, and the president is absolutely right. It's why the White House Ballroom Project is not just a fun project for President Trump, like you will read in the media. It is actually critical for our national security that a larger, secure building on this complex, which is the most secure complex in the world, is built to accommodate not only large amounts of guests, but also the president, the vice president, members of the cabinet. The line of succession in this country should be able to gather.
Yeah, they said it was $11,800 worth of wine stolen, and if you mark it up for the event fee, it was about $29,000 worth of wine stolen. He said that he negotiated the bottle price from $86 down to like $79. So all in all, about almost $12,000 worth of wine was stolen. If you add the markup on it, it's $29,000 worth of wine they stole.
freely in safety without the fear of threats or political violence. And the White House ballroom will provide that. And so it's critical that we get this project done as quickly as possible.
And then on Iran as well,
Thank you,
Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions, if that's all right. First, on the security situation on Saturday.
Cindy said, you still whine too if you were freaked out from attending an assassination attempt. No, Cindy, I'm FBA. I'm black. I would have got the fuck on down. That's the thing. One thing about black folks, when shots get the fire, you don't got to tell us what to do. We're going to get the fuck on down. We're going home.
Saturday, kind of a follow-up here. Previous administrations have sent both the president and the vice president to the dinner. But after the foiled attack on Saturday, if the dinner is rescheduled, would President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance both plan on attending? And is it wise to have both of them in the same spot, given the presidential?
Yeah, chat, for me, it would have been over with. All of that, hey, everybody, we're leaving the Hilton. We're going to head over to the White House. Trump's going to do a press conference. All of that shit would have been over with. Chat. I'm going home. What do you mean this nigga just tried to run into the Hilton with a shotgun, a pistol, and some knives and shit? And y'all want me to travel from here over there with y'all? Man, I'm going to the fucking house, man. I'm finna go hug my kids and kiss my babies and shit. Man, I'm not trying to get drunk with y'all, parlay with y'all, man. Carry my black ass home.
The line of succession that you mentioned a second ago.
It's definitely a good question, and I know that it's one that will be raised. I can assure you the president intends to attend the event, as he has told all of you publicly. I don't want to rule in or out the vice president's attendance, but certainly that's a conversation that will take place.
And Iran has proposed a mutual reopening of the strait, leaving the nuclear discussion for later in the process. Given that the nuclear program has been a red line for this administration, would the president agree to that kind of phased negotiation?
Well, only because it's been reported. I will confirm the president has met with his...
Look, here goes Stan the Wise talking about Chimp mad Trump didn't bite the dust. I didn't want Trump's life to be lost, but I'm gonna tell you like this. You're mad that ain't nobody listening to you or watching you. You wanted a little fame, a little highlight, we gonna give you that, man. We gonna give you that. Stan, what's your name? Hold on, let me find you. Stan the Wise. Stan the Wise. We might got us one on the hook, Chad. We might got us one.
National Security Team this morning. The meeting may be ongoing, maybe not. I don't want to speak affirmatively because I was prepping to come out here. But the proposal was being discussed. I don't want to get ahead of the president or his National Security Team. What I will reiterate is that the president...
What y'all don't realize, if Trump gets smoked, we're fucking toast, Chad. If Trump gets smoked, we're toast. J.D. Vance has already sold us out to the technocrats, man. You're talking about mass surveillance, man? Hey, listen, if Trump goes, man, we're fucked. We're fucked in ways you couldn't even imagine.
President's red lines with respect to Iran have been made very, very clear, not just to the American public, but also to them as well.
So they're considering it.
I wouldn't say they're considering it. I would just say that there was a discussion this morning that I don't want to get ahead of, and you'll hear directly from the president, I'm sure, on this topic very soon.
I'm going to ask you about the Fed chairman, but first, 3 assassination attempts in 3 years. Is this going to change the type of events that the president goes to?
You said, how is that, dude? Well, you've heard about J.D. Vance and how Peter Thiel and him are best friends. We see Peter Thiel got the Palantir contract inside of the Pentagon. Peter Thiel's betting J.D. Vance is his generational bet to make sure that the technocrats seize power from the legacy banking system. What Peter Thiel is running around doing is seminars talking about how the Antichrist isn't some horned beast. The Antichrist is actually the environmentalists and the people who want to save the world, the people who don't want technology to run their world and make all the decisions. He's saying that those people are the Antichrist. The people that don't want the forests burnt to the fucking ground, the people that don't want chips in their head, the people that don't want to take the mark of the beast. He's saying that they're the Antichrist. That's why we don't need this guy up here, man.
Well, again, that's going to be part of the conversations moving forward. But as you heard from President Trump, he does not want these deranged lunatics and these grave acts of political violence to change our American way of life. And I think it's a very brave thing for him to say. It'd be very easy for him to just hunker down here at the White House where he knows he's safe. But the president wants to be out across the country. He wants to
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, Trump sold us out too. I've instructed the United States Biological Weapons Commission to investigate AI biometric identification device everyone can trust. Yes, he's also floating the idea of expanding KYC, know your customer with the banks, into biometrics, making everybody that has a bank account give up their biometrics. They're floating that around too. But what I'm saying is that these are all accelerationists. Right now, Trump is preoccupied. Trump has his own agenda. J.D. Vance's sole purpose is to come in and bring the technocrats to power. That's where we're at with that shit. The sole purpose of J.D. Vance is to bring the technocrats to power. KYC, not KFC, KYC, Karen. Know your customer.
Go across the country to meet with Americans. He wants to celebrate the 250th birthday of our nation's anniversary this summer. As you know, we're gearing up for a big UFC fight here on the South Lawn. So there's many exciting events I know the president wants to be part of and will be part of moving forward. He's undeterred in that way, and it's something that inspires all of us here to keep going.
Senator Tillis is now dropping his objection to allowing Kevin Warsh to be confirmed because the DOJ has closed their investigation. Is the president satisfied that
You said, what does that have to do with us being toast? I'm just saying, listen, privacy will be gone. There'll be have you not seen what Trump's trying to pass now with the FISA, whatever they're calling it, man? Giving up our rights, our privacy rights, our Fourth Amendment rights. That's what we're toast. Our rights are going to be gone. You'll be mass surveilled. Anything that you think wrong, you'll be held accountable for it. All of this shit they're talking about, having the AirPods that can read your brain waves now. You got the Neuralink rolling out. You got flock cameras linking up with Ring doorbell cameras. It's a guy right now, I forgot what state he's in. He has a warrant on his license plate. They don't even have a warrant on him. It's a warrant on his license plate. Every time he pulls out of his damn driveway, he gets pulled over. And it's because they put a warrant attached to his license plate that's for somebody else. He can't even get it pulled off. Yes, we are already mass surveilled, but right now we have at least some protections. They can't just do it all out in the fucking open. They gotta be a little high. They gotta hide it. What I'm saying is the mark of the beast. If you don't conform, you're put out of the system. Like in Mexico right now. They're cutting it out. You can't buy gas with cash as of the end of this year. So if you don't conform to the system, your ass is grass. You won't be traveling.
Inspector General report into the Federal Reserve is enough to look into these renovations?
The president understands that the Inspector General has greater tools at their disposal, perhaps even more powerful than a grand jury, to continue investigating the financial mismanagement of the Fed building, which is a priority for the president. Look, he's a builder himself. When he sees something...
See, this is the thing. Everybody's sitting around acting like, oh, we just got to let this happen. What the fuck can we do? Talk about it. Stand up. Do something. We're the last line of defense. Our children are going to look at us like, y'all didn't do shit. Our grandchildren are going to look at us like, y'all were the last fucking line of defense. And y'all didn't say nothing. You just shut the fuck up and took it like a good boy. You just shut the fuck up and took it like a good boy. I thought you were here for us. That's why I get on here and run my mouth about it every night.
Has a lot of cost overruns, is taking too long, and in this case ripping off the American taxpayer. He wants to get to the bottom of it. I understand Senator Tillis put out a statement saying he'll support Kevin Warsh's confirmation. That has been our position all along from day one. He is more than qualified for the job, and we look forward to working with the Senate on his swift confirmation process. Megan.
As a follow-up on Warsh, will the president be satisfied once the Fed's Inspector General finishes that investigation, even if it finds no evidence of wrongdoing?
Well, that's a hypothetical question. I'll let the president speak on it when we see the results. It's obviously far too early to say.
And relatedly, as a follow-up, now that it looks like Warsh will be confirmed by the end of Jay Powell's term, is he still considering firing Jay Powell if he stays on as governor after that?
I haven't talked to him about it specifically, but I think the president will be satisfied once Kevin Warsh is confirmed as the Fed chair, which he should be. Karen.
On Iran, the president had said last week that
You said the Senate and Congress won't vote him out. Vote them out. Vote their ass out, man. We tell their ass we coming for them seats. That's what we got to start doing, Chad. We got to start putting fire on these politicians, understanding our objectives and what we want. Vote their ass out. We coming for them seats, man. You can't protect our privacy. You can't protect our jobs. We coming for them seats. We gonna put somebody ass in there who can and who will. How about that? Fuck them. Fuck them.
The U.S. has started the process of clearing the Strait of Hormuz of mines. Do you have an update on how many have been removed and an estimate of how long that process could take?
I don't, but I would defer you to the Pentagon on that. We'll make sure they get you an answer, Karen.
It's an ongoing process, though. It's still actually happening right now.
Again, I would defer you to the Pentagon on anything with respect to clearing mines in the Strait of Hormuz.
I know that you said that the White House is reviewing the security protocols for things that could be done differently in the future. Have you identified anything so far that you would like to see done differently, or ask the Secret Service to make any changes in the security protocols for the president, particularly at these large events that are taking place off the White House campus?
Not yet, no, but as I said, there will be a meeting here at the White House in the earlier half of this week, so those conversations will take place.
And on the line of succession...
And I would also just add, you know, look, the Secret Service does not detail their procedures or operations to the public for obvious reasons, because you have crazy people who try to hijack them and get around them. So these conversations will take place in private, but if adjustments need to be made to protect the president, they will be made.
I see all y'all in there saying good luck with that. Tuck your tail then. Go home. Go home then. Tuck your tail. I got it. Okay? If y'all don't want to stand up for something, y'all don't want to say that y'all cool with being massive, I got it. Watch the fuck out. Stay at home. It's safer at home.
The White House discussed doing like it does, for instance, with a joint address to Congress for these large events, and designating someone as the designated survivor for future large events that the cabinet attends.
Well, those conversations ahead of the WACA dinner did take place, but there were several members of the cabinet in the line of succession who did not attend for various personal reasons. So designating one survivor was not necessary, as we had several members who were not there already.
Caroline, all those people forced to dive under tables and fearing for their lives on Saturday night, including many of the people in this room, myself included. What is the president's message to those people who experienced that terrible trauma and maybe are still fearful today?
I think he would say, as he sort of did on Saturday night, coming in here in his tuxedo, you know, we can't allow these crazy people to let us be afraid. We have to keep moving forward, showing up, doing our job, celebrating our country, and doing what we know is right. But certainly we'd like to see the rhetoric against this president and his supporters toned down, because it is inspiring these crazy people across the country to target not just the president, but those who work for him and those who support him. And it must end.
Is he following the arraignment of the suspect today?
Yes, he is, and I know you all want to follow that too. It's happening in a few minutes, so I'll let you all go. The Department of Justice is also going to be speaking momentarily following the arraignment, and I pray that this is the last time I speak to you.
All right, chat, hit the like button. Let's get into the DOJ and what they had to say.
Harmony.
Hey, no, hell no.
To build a unique
Hell no.
brand.
Pause there.
Your words.
Hell no, Chad. Why do I have an ad on here, man? Let me get us to the ad-free version. They trying to get that chicken, man. Hold on, no, man. Hell no, they trying to get off on us, Chad.
On Saturday night, as you all know.
All right, we're about to listen to Cash Patel, Blanche, and I forgot that other woman's name. We're about to listen to them speak about the new updates. I need everybody to hit the like button. We're 1 minute away. We got 1 minute to get 5 likes, chat. Everyone double tap the screen right now. We got to smash the like goal. 1 minute. If it hits 61 minutes, we ain't at 100 likes. Y'all failed. We failed. Let's get into it, chat.
No. An act of violence occurred at a gathering that symbolizes something fundamental to our system of government: the ability of a free press and public officials to come together in celebration and not fear. The act was stopped because of the courage and...
That's what I'm saying, chat. Like, we get on here and I'm reading the comments, and so many of y'all are just party line. Y'all don't even know what y'all want. Y'all don't even know what y'all, when the city councilman comes and knocks on your door and shit, you're not even gonna know what fucking pothole to direct him to. You don't know what you want. You don't know if you're for mass surveillance, if you're against it, if you don't care, you don't know it. You don't know what the fuck you want. That's why sometimes you gotta get spoon-fed, man, and nothing wrong with it. But I'm here to tell you to figure out what you want, stand on business, and relay that message to these people that you plan on putting in power, whether it's locally, state level, or federal. You gotta know what the fuck you want, man.
That horrible act was stopped because of the courage and professionalism of law enforcement. The officers who responded without hesitation and did their jobs as they were trained to do. Secret Service agents promptly tackled and detained the suspect, Cole Thomas Allen. The president and all the protectees and participants at the dinner were...
This is the thing. We can say no politician gives a crap about us, but they give a crap about that position. They give a crap about that status, that social status. They like those dinners. They like those meetings. They like spending money on the fucking taxpayers' dollar, man. And we finna tell their ass we coming for them seats, man. It is what it is. In your county, in your state, and we coming for them seats, man. We know you like living that comfortable life, and we coming for that shit if you cannot adhere to these things that we need as citizens. We coming for that shit, man. It's it's over 300 million people in America. I promise you we can find somebody else to do it. I promise you we can find somebody else to do it.
Safe. One brave officer was injured and is receiving care and has been released from the hospital. I want to make this clear. This man was a floor above the ballroom with hundreds of federal agents between him and the President of the United States. The Department of Justice approaches incidents like this with urgency and clarity of purpose. Violence
What's up,
has
Leo?
No place in civic life. It cannot and will not be used to disrupt democratic institutions or intimidate those who serve them, and it certainly cannot continue to be used against the President of the United States. We are investigating this matter fully.
Thanks, Vail.
We will apply the law fairly, and we will ensure that accountability is swift and certain. But we also should recognize what did not happen. Law enforcement did not fail. They did exactly what they are trained.
All right, Chad, let's put it to a live poll. Do y'all think law enforcement failed or succeeded in regards to this assassination attempt? Did law enforcement fail or succeed in regards to this assassination attempt?
Trained to do. This was not an accident. It was the result, as we know now, of preparation. But the men and women who protected us that night were trained, professional, and had an enduring commitment to the rule of law. Today, the Department of Justice filed 3 federal charges in United States District Court against Cole Thomas Allen. The first count is attempted assassination of the President of the United States.
Okay, Chad, so who do you blame in this situation? Do you place all blame on Cole Allen? Is it the family dynamic? Do you put some blame on the media? Is this solely Cole Allen's fault? What's up, Gito? What's up, Carlos? Everyone hit the like button, chat. We're 25 likes away from the next like. Go to the top, hit the 3 dots. If you have not subscribed to the channel, there's never gonna be a better time.
United States. This count is punishable by up to life in prison. The second count is interstate transportation of a firearm to commit a felony. This is punishable.
That's what I'm saying. What's up with these people driving all the way across country with these guns? This guy drove from Cali all the way to DC with a shotgun and some pistol and some knives. The other guy that went in there and shot up in New York, I believe the NFL headquarters, he drove all the way from damn Vegas through Colorado and what's up with these people driving cross country with firearms to commit heinous crimes? Like, this shit is crazy.
By up to 10 years in prison. And the third count is discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, which is punishable by a mandatory minimum term of imprisonment of 10 years, a maximum of life, and that 10 years is consecutive to any other sentence imposed. Just to go through very quickly the timeline, which many of you in this room already know. The defendant, Allen, made a hotel reservation at the Washington Hilton for April 24th through April 26th.
What I'm trying to say is, man, how the fuck they didn't know this was coming on? They said this man had been looking up all of this shit. They said the man had booked the room months in advance for $3,000. Trump hadn't even confirmed that he was going. What's up with dude, man? They didn't know this. Come on now, Chad. Come on, Chad.
On April 21st of this year, he traveled by train from Los Angeles to Chicago and then from Chicago to Washington, D.C. On April 24th, he arrived in Washington, D.C. at approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon and checked into the Washington Hilton.
Yeah, that's why they're going to do mass surveillance. That's what I'm saying, Too Strong. This whole shit, yeah, we can say it's about the ballroom, of course. I think they want to rebuild the ballroom. They're trying to build it like Solomon's Temple. They say it's supposed to have all of this shit. But they're trying to push mass surveillance. They want the ballroom to be the narrative, Chad. They want everybody so focused on this ballroom that they passed that FISA. That's where they can do mass surveillance on everybody except American citizens throughout the world for no reason. You think they're just gonna stop at everybody but American citizens, man? If y'all gotta look, they're pushing this ballroom shit so that FISA shit can just slide through the cracks, man. So nobody talks about that. Ballroom, oh, it's a lot of money. Oh, it's these people want to build it and these contractors are this kind of people. And they just slide that mass surveillance shit right on through. I'm telling you what I'm seeing, Chad.
Approximately at 8:40 on the night of April 25th, Allen approached a security checkpoint on the terrace level of the hotel, which is again a floor above where the dinner was taking place. He ran through the magnetometer holding a long gun. As he did so, U.S. Secret Service personnel assigned to the checkpoint heard a loud gunshot. One Secret Service officer was shot in the chest, but was wearing a ballistic vest that worked. This heroic officer who was hit fired 5 times at Allen.
Look at Lau. What do you mean nice blanket label with zero logic? What do you mean, Lau? How is that not logical? We see the media talking about the ballroom. What did all of the Republicans tweet in coordination? The ballroom is needed now. What did Fetterman say? We need the ballroom now. What did Trump say? We need the ballroom now. What did he say immediately after? We need the ballroom. What is Caroline saying? We need the ballroom. But what's actually going on quietly behind the scenes? He's trying to pass that FISA. He spoke about it yesterday, saying that we needed to have a strong military. We needed to have a safe, secure country. That's just not making the mainstream news. That's not the headlines that's going on, but that's the most important shit. Fuck that ballroom. Fuck that ballroom. We talking about mass surveillance here.
Who was not shot, but fell to the ground and was promptly arrested. I want to thank everybody who worked tirelessly on Saturday, Sunday, and continuing today. This includes members of the FBI, and Director Patel is going to address that in a minute. It includes members of the Metropolitan Police Department who were immediately on the scene, the chief, the mayor, to make sure that law enforcement was available to do their jobs and had all the tools they needed to do so.
And the mass surveillance is so relevant because we have to realize what happened a month ago. Anthropic was into it with the Pentagon and Hegseth. Why? They ended up labeling them a supply chain risk. The first American company to ever be labeled a supply chain risk, right, Chad? Why was that? Because Anthropic's CEO did the interview. He said we would not give them mass surveillance of American citizens, and we would not give them autonomous weapons to let the AI fire weapons on their own. Why the fuck is he even saying it? If they're not trying to use this FISA to mass surveil Americans, why is Anthropic's CEO making it a hard line saying, no, this is where we drew the line? Why even come out and say this is where we drew the line if those lines weren't being encroached upon?
And lastly, the United States Attorney's Office here in D.C., our U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro and her team, prosecutors stayed up all night long, didn't sleep all day yesterday, making sure that we got what we needed from all over the country. It included search warrants in California, search warrants here in D.C., multiple interviews that have been conducted already of witnesses and of family members of the charged individual, and continue to work hard today. This investigation is ongoing. It's not complete. A lot of the information that the media is hearing through leaks or sources, some of it is true, some of it is not true, and at the right time you will hear information from us as appropriate. I'd like to ask our U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro to say a few words, and then followed by Director Patel. Thank you.
So this is the thing, Carlos. It wasn't gonna, they said they had investors for the ballroom. Now you got Lindsey Graham and them, they're proposing a bill that's gonna make the taxpayers pay the $400 million. So what they're trying to do is box this judge and these people into a corner. Like, hey, look, the ballroom's gonna get done one way or another. It's either you let us do it privately funded, or we're gonna push it through and make the taxpayers pay for it. They're trying to push them into a corner with getting this ballroom done. They're looking for different loopholes. Hit the like button, chat. I need everybody to hit the like button for me right now. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal, and we're 20 subs away from the next sub goal.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Cole Allen's journey of accountability in the criminal justice system starts today. Todd Blanche just indicated to you the charges. Those charges are only 3 charges that are in the complaint that has been presented in federal district court about an hour ago. There will be additional charges as this investigation continues to unfold. But make no mistake, this was an attempted assassination of the President of the United States, with the defendant making clear what his intent was. And that intent was to bring down as many of the high-ranking cabinet officials as he could. This is the kind of situation that...
Except Kash Patel. I hope they're going to ask him, chat. I hope they ask Kash Patel. Why weren't you on the list, Kash Patel? Why everybody but Kash Patel, chat? Why everybody but Kash Patel?
We cannot tolerate. And as the Attorney General has just indicated, it could have been so much worse.
I'm just saying, the only reason I could see that not Kash Patel, it has to be one or two things. It has to be that Kash Patel is a minority, which this guy, I believe, was black and white, I think. I don't think he was mixed. It either has to be Kash Patel's a minority, or it has to be the stats that Kash Patel has been touting about rescuing all those missing children. Those are the only 2 explanations I see plausible for him excluding Kash Patel. It has to be either he's a minority, or it has to be the missing kids that Kash Patel is saying they got.
But for the reality that we had the Secret Service, as well as the Metropolitan Police Department and the FBI. Now, the facts make it very clear what this intent was. You may recall that it was on March 2nd that the president indicated.
Nah, give me a break, Tiny Space. You talking about you stole Venezuela and can't secure a hotel. Man, what do you mean we stole Venezuela, man? Trump ass snatched Maduro the fuck up, man. Maduro got kidnapped, man, and that's about it, man. What do you mean we stole Venezuela? Venezuela's still down there operating, doing what the hell they doing, man. You talking about?
That he would be attending this public event at the Hilton. And on April 6th, that's when Cole Allen first made a hotel reservation at the Washington Hilton for 3 nights, the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th. It was on April 21st that he traveled all the way from the West Coast, from his home near LA.
You said, what is this doing for the nation? What is what doing for the nation? What is what doing for the nation?
He gets to Chicago on April 23rd, and has been indicated he arrives in D.C. on the 24th, and he checks into the hotel at about 3 p.m. He stays overnight. He is very much aware that the president and the first lady entered the ballroom at 8 p.m. And
hit
it
the
was
like
at
button, chat.
8:40 that he made a decision to rush the ballroom. And thank goodness, law enforcement, the Secret Service, was able to prevent him from getting into that ballroom. He was not injured other than some kind of scrape on his knee. Now, as indicated, these are the weapons that the defendant had on his person.
Now, Chad, how likely is it that somebody tries to run up on Trump with a shotgun, a pistol, some knives and shit, and walks away with a scratched knee? You just tried to run down on Trump. Bulletproof Trump. The Trump. J.D. Vance right over there. The Mike Johnson's in the house. Caroline Levitt's with child in that motherfucker. And you walk away with a scratched knee. Okay. Yeah, all right.
You can see that's a 12-gauge pump action Mossberg shotgun.
And then he ran in there with a 12-gauge pump action Mossberg. So the video we seen him running in, did he have the gun on him then? Or did he already drop the gun? It was no way he was running that fucking fast with a 12-gauge Mossberg, bro. It's no way that nigga was running that fast with a 12-gauge Mossberg, bro. He had to drop it off.
The .38 semi-automatic. He had at least 3 knives and all kinds of paraphernalia.
And he had a .38 on him. So he got a .38, a Mossberg 12-gauge, and some damn knives and shit. And he's running, man, there's no way, bro.
Paraphernalia. So any suggestion that he wasn't there to do harm is absurd. We will prove when he purchased these guns. They were purchased in California. Why is that relevant? It is relevant because he crossed interstate lines with those firearms. And those are the firearms that he used on the night of the 25th, or attempted to use at the very least. Now, the manifesto also makes clear about his expected rules of engagement. You know, you can look at it and read it.
Chad, I'm just saying, people have a hard time getting a pistol in the club. And y'all mean to tell me this man ran in the White House Correspondents' Dinner with Trump in attendance with a 12-gauge Mossberg, a .38 special, and some knives. Mo, you can't even get a deuce in the club anymore. What are we talking about here? Chad, hit the like button.
And it may seem kind of la, but at the end, make no mistake, he says, I am targeting the administration officials. They are my targets, and I'm prioritizing from the top down, the highest ranking from the lowest. And I will not hesitate to get involved in any kind of encounter with anyone who blocks me from the president. Now, finally, let me say one thing. Within days of the president nominating me to be the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, I was at the scene of a double homicide where one Elias Rodriguez crossed state lines from Chicago with a firearm to commit a felony in the district. He's now indicted for the murder of 2 individuals. Laurent Lachey.
I'm just saying, even if the Mossberg isn't that heavy, there's no way he was running with that Mossberg in the clip we seen. He would have had to been running like this with it, or he would have been strapped on his back or something, man. Unless they say it was strapped to his back, that's the only way he could have been running this fast, Chad. It's no way. If he had it in his hand, we would have seen if he was running like, how was he running that damn fast with it? Was it thrown over his shoulder, strapped to his back? That's the only way I see it, bro.
Shinsky and Sarah Milgram here in Washington. Not long after that, another individual, Ramanullah Lachenwall, crossed state lines, again with a firearm, with intent to commit a felony here in Washington. He traveled from the state of Washington. He is now indicted with...
It's no way they said he had it in his pants leg. I don't believe that shit. It's no way. It's no way. Yeah, I know he had a .38 revolver. You can listen. It's no way that he ran that fast with a damn Mossberg 12 gauge in his leg. Hell no. Ain't no hell no.
The murder of Sarah Beckstrom, a National Guardsman, and the attempted murder of National Guard Andrew Wolf. Today we have
I know nothing about guns. I know this much. I grew up around guns. I'm from Arkansas. What the fuck do you mean, man? This nigga is not running a fucking 4 flat with a Mossberg in his fucking pants leg. What do you mean? I don't know. It's common sense. It's common sense. This nigga was, you see how fast he was running? He didn't have a limp. He wasn't swinging his leg. He wasn't doing nothing. You trying to tell me this nigga had a 12 gauge in his leg and I know nothing about it? This nigga ran a 4 flat. What are you talking about?
Cole Allen, another individual, charged with crossing state lines coming from California with a firearm with the intent to commit a felony here in the district. Let this be a message to anyone who thinks that Washington, D.C. is the place to act out political violence. And if you are willing to do so with a firearm and cross state lines, we will find you, we will track your steps from the inception of your plan, and we will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. Washington, D.C. is not the place to travel to commit acts of violence. The Constitution and the laws of the United States permit us to register our views through our voices and our votes. What they don't permit is making your views known through violence, especially violence directed at the President of the United States. This is anti-democratic at its core.
Thank you, Judge.
And this is what I have a problem with, because if Kash Patel doesn't address that he was the only one that was gonna get spared in this assassination attempt, it's bullshit, bro. It's bullshit. They have no reporters there asking questions and shit as of yet, bro. Like Kash Patel, the only thing we want to know from you is why or how you feel about getting spared. At least say something, be like, I don't know why he didn't want me to go. I don't know. At least acknowledge it. If he doesn't acknowledge that shit, Chad, I'm done. I'm done.
Excuse me. Thank you, General. This one hits a little differently. We were all there. Many of you were there. Many of you watching were there as well. The president was there. The vice president was there. The cabinet was there. And what you saw described by the general and the U.S. attorney is absolutely true. The president spoke on late Saturday evening with the message of unity and a backing of law enforcement, and we have...
Here we go. He's not even mentioning, Chad. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal, Chad. Do y'all think this was real or staged? Put it in the comments. Real or staged in the comments. What's up, Flower? What's up, Jade? What's up, Karma? Everyone hit the like button. Let's get to 200 likes right quick. We're 25 likes away.
We have followed through on that message of unity and the effectuation of law enforcement across this country. This FBI is grateful to the United States Secret Service, the Department of Homeland Security, and our interagency partners, including the Metropolitan Police Department, for swiftly jumping into action. All of us on there put us in a unique position, but all of us also acted uniquely. The Washington field office jumped into action immediately, sending a mobile command center to the scene, along with our evidence response technicians, who showed up in speedy fashion to make sure we could collect the evidence that the prosecutors and the department needed to make this announcement today. Also on scene, you were told about the brave heroics of the United States Secret Service and other members of law enforcement, and that should be celebrated by every single American. They did exactly what they were trained to do. They stopped a massive attack from becoming even worse. They stood in the way, they safeguarded America, and they should be nothing but applauded for their bravery and their dedication to their...
What's up, Chris? I want to know who shot the Secret Service. They're still not letting us know who shot the Secret Service. Why is that? They're not saying that the guy went in there and shot anybody. They're saying the Secret Service, what's up, Brad? They're saying the Secret Service got shot, but they're not saying who shot him. Why is that? What's up, Jade? Why is that? A Secret Service member got shot. Who shot him?
Mission and their selfless sacrifice to this country. The FBI, along with standing up mobile command units, evidence tech response team, and Washington SWAT on scene, also established our NC3, our National Crisis Coordination Center, almost immediately. And almost immediately in parallel, we stood up our command center at the Washington...
Now y'all saying he cheddar bobbed himself. He shot himself in the chest. He cheddar bobbed himself. Nah, y'all not saying he cheddar bobbed himself, man. Chill out.
Washington field office under ADIC Darren Cox's leadership. Throughout the evening, we immediately began working with our Department of Justice partners to find the evidence necessary to effectuate the legal process necessary and enter into the suspect's room at the Washington Hilton successfully and lawfully and obtain the relevant evidence for exploitation that was on scene. Back at the headquarters division and the Washington field office, we were coordinating a national scale investigation.
You saying why does it matter? Because that puts a lot in perspective. If he went in there, shot a Secret Service agent in the fucking chest, and he's alive to talk about it at the White House correspondent dinner with Trump, Caroline Leavitt, with Child, J.D. Vance, Mike Johnson, and all of these people, man. I know something. They just let this nigga run up in there with a shotgun, a 38, some knives, shoot a Secret Service agent, and fucking live to talk about it, man. Chill out. That's why it matters.
Investigation that literally spanned from coast to coast. As you heard, FBI agents, along with the interagency, were immediately dispatched to the suspect's home in California, where we conducted interviews that provided critical information about this horrific attack. We also dispatched investigators and agents to New London, Connecticut, where we conducted further interviews that provided necessary information that you will find in this criminal complaint, as the United States Attorney has just laid out. While officers were working diligently through the night to conduct those interviews, we were also conducting interviews of witnesses on scene. Those interviews are ongoing. As you know, there was almost 2,000 people there. We are sifting through and prioritizing who to talk to, and we will get to each and every one of you with any bit of relevant information. Again, we ask everybody who has any relevant information, like I did on Saturday night with the president, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Any piece of information is information we want to have and must receive.
No, it makes me think that, just put everything into perspective. It makes me take the Butler assassination attempt into consideration and how they handled the aftermath. It's like, who doesn't want an investigation into their own assassination attempt? Why is Kash Patel stopping assassination? What do we really know about Thomas Crooks? What did they say was the main problem with the Butler shooting? There was no investigation. There was no follow-up. We didn't know anything about it. He just was unalived and it was gone. Now, this nigga runs up in here with a shotgun, a 38, and some knives. Secret Service gets shot by who? Nobody knows. And he's here to stand trial and talk about it. They made sure this one was here to stand trial and talk about it. Listen. We watched January 6th. We watch how these people go crazy about Trump. We know that all of these people, we know men always talking about what they would do if they're put in this situation. So you mean to tell me all of those men that were put in that situation just didn't do the shit that they said they would do? If I was at Butler, I would have done this. If I was over here, I would have done this. If it was Renee Good or Alex Preddy, I would have done this. And none of that goes on now.
On-scene response by this FBI, the headquarters response, and the Washington field office response, the FBI flipped on its enterprise-wide response to this critical incident. What does that mean? We dispatched fixed-wing assets across the country so that we could immediately transport evidence that was acquired in California and Connecticut and sent it to our laboratories in Quantico for analysis. We collected the shell casings on scene, including the firearms and the weapons that the judge talked about. Those were also sent to our Quantico laboratories for immediate. And
that's what I'm saying. Secret Service is trying to shoot to kill. Secret Service is trying to shoot to kill, man. They're not playing no fucking games, man. Secret Service draw down on you, bro. It's not much to talk about, man. Law enforcement is trying to shoot to kill. They gonna empty the fucking clip. They're gonna put the whole clip, three, four officers gonna put everything they have inside of you. No Diddy, no Epstein. These people are taught to shoot to kill and nobody bust a gun. Nobody.
Analysis. America should be proud that this FBI acted with the urgency that was needed for the moment that we had to answer. The president rightly said that we will act in a unified fashion, and it's because of President Trump's leadership and backing of the blue, every single person in law enforcement that I stood with into the late evening hours on Saturday, early evening hours on Sunday, and all day yesterday and today, are thrilled to wear the badge and defend this country. Each and every one of them deserves our thanks, and I encourage everyone listening to go out there and shake the hand of a federal agent or police officer and say thank you for doing their job. Thank you for training endlessly to make sure they meet the mission requirements. And for me, as the director of the FBI, I want to thank our headquarters components for working diligently with our prosecutors and make sure that the American public knows it's not just federal agents that do this work. It's our intelligence analysts, our support staff, our laboratories, our fixed-wing assets, our critical incident response groups, our hostage rescue teams. Agents sprung into action, got out of bed, and haven't slept since. These prosecutors haven't slept since, and I promise you they're not going to be sleeping. They are going to give you every piece of evidence. As the journal said, we will make public, when appropriate, to protect the integrity of this investigation, to make sure that due process is served, and we will meet the highest standards of the Constitution as we always do. And that is when we will continue to disclose information. I know the public has a yearning for information, but just remind yourself of how much information you have already received, how transparent this administration has been. In less than 48 hours, you know almost every single thing we know. And what we have not told you yet, we will tell you in short order. So once again, from me, as director of the FBI, I want to thank the interagency. I want to thank the United States Secret Service and their director, Mark Wayne Mullen, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Attorney General of the United States Attorney Pirro, and Ada Cox for springing into action on a night that should have been celebrating free speech, but we will be doing it again shortly, as the President said, and we look forward to seeing you all there.
Pierre.
2 questions, please. Beyond the evidence and what the judge described as the manifesto, what other evidence can you point to that tells us that the president was the primary target of the suspect?
So we're a day and a half into the investigation. As we talked about earlier.
Chat, do y'all think Trump incites this violence, chat? Oh, we got a super chat. Hold on. D-Rock comes through supporting the channel via super chat, says, sup, plug. Keep up the good work. I'm smelling side with this. Not sure why or who is doing it, but it stinks. I agree with you, D-Rock. There's something to this shit right here. It's something to this shit right here, chat. But I'm going to do a live poll. Do y'all think Trump incites violence? Everyone hit the like button. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal, man. Double tap that screen. Let's get in the algorithm, man. Does Trump incite violence?
We were able to get multiple devices from various locations, the hotel room and also his where he lived in California.
Also, they're saying Nick Fuentes is hiding because of that SPC shit, man. It's because of that I guess where they was funding the conservative movements, the neo-Nazi groups, ever since they came out with who was funding it, they said Nick Fuentes been kind of missing, man. Said he's been kind of missing.
Have started that process. There's nothing more that would be appropriate to share at this time until we have thoroughly gone through it, which we're doing, and we'll share that information as appropriate in the future. Second question, go ahead.
Beyond the assassination attempts against President Trump, you had someone try to burn down the mansion where the governor lives in Pennsylvania. You had those state lawmakers attacked in Minnesota. You had 2 Israeli embassy staff members murdered in the city here. You had the Charlie Kirk assassination. You had the National Guardsman killed in the city. Can you
a lot of bodies dropping.
The current threat environment and what DOJ's stance is about it?
Well, you just described the current threat environment pretty accurately, which is that the political violence and rhetoric has got to stop. And that's something President Trump said right after the incident on Saturday night. It's something that Carolyn Levitt talked about a couple hours ago. It is something that is, when you have a president who and many people in this room, if we're going to be honest about it, have done it as well. They're just as guilty as a lot of people on X. When you have reporters, when you have media just being overly critical and calling the president horrible names for no reason.
All right, chat, I'm going to ask y'all this, man. If you had to vote today for the next president and it was between Don Jr. and Kamala Harris, who would you vote for, chat? Don Jr. or Kamala Harris, man? Don Jr. or Kamala Harris?
And without evidence, without proof, it shouldn't surprise us that this type of rhetoric takes place. If you look at what it appears that this defendant had in his past, we're talking about somebody who is college educated, who has a job, who is otherwise living his life. And we'll find out more about him, as I expect, in the coming days and weeks. But he chose to do what he did. And so our threat environment is, we are ready. I mean, I'm not going to go through what Director Patel just talked about with the way we responded. But this was something that we will always be prepared for. And it's sad that it has to happen, but it's not a new thing, unfortunately.
Have you been able to determine whether the gunman fired shots? If so, how many shots he fired, and who exactly, whose bullet hit the agent?
We're still...
You said, am I crazy to even ask? See, Chad, this is the thing y'all don't realize, Chad, is that a lot of these companies and a lot of these corporations, they pay thousands and thousands of dollars to do these polls. Y'all come into my live and I do these live polls to get actual feedback. There are corporations that pay thousands of dollars to have people out canvassing for these type of polls, man. So just enjoy it, answer the poll, get some live feedback, and hit the like button. Double tap the screen, shut the live out.
We want to get that right. So we're still looking at that. It appears, and I don't want to overstate, because we are still looking at this, that there were five shots that law enforcement fired. We have all the evidence is being examined very carefully and expeditiously, and we'll know more soon. We do believe that, as the complaint lays out, that the suspect, that the defendant fired it out of his shotgun, and we know that happened. But as far as getting into exacting ballistics, I'm not going to do that today because it's still being looked at and finalized.
Thank you for taking my question. You personally have called for a construction of this ballroom at the White House. The president has called for this as well. Today, the National Trust president put out a statement, says that they're grateful that everybody's okay. But, and I quote, "We are not planning to voluntarily dismiss our lawsuit, which endangers no one, and which respects..."
Here go Kevin Hill. Your poll is worthless. Your audience is not a good sample. Man, half of these polls y'all fucking see, they're only asking 1,000 people. Damn, we damn near got 1,000 motherfuckers in here right now, Kevin Hill. Listen, man, I hate when motherfuckers... Don't even worry about it, Kevin. Welcome in, Kevin. I hope you're having a good night. Enjoy the show.
Fully ask the administration to follow the law. Ballroom construction is continuing unabated until June 5th at the earliest because the injunction is on hold. Where does the Justice Department go from here? And then I have a follow-up on that.
Well, we filed a motion today asking the court to do what the plaintiffs refused to do. We absolutely believe that there is no better example of why this ballroom is necessary, aside from all the very positive things the ballroom will bring to this country and to Washington, D.C., than what happened on Saturday night. You guys, many of you all were there. That's one of the only places in D.C. that you can hold an event like that due to its size and the structure of what we need.
This is the thing. Y'all come in here and tell me to pick better choices and try to shape my polls and shit. Tell Polymarket that shit. Tell Kalshi that shit. They're betting on whether Jesus is coming back, but y'all got a problem with my poll of Don Jr. and Kamala. Okay, let's do another fucking poll then, man. Let's do another poll, man. Eric Trump or AOC, man. If you had to vote for a president right now, Eric Trump or AOC, since y'all don't like my motherfucking polls.
So we're basically stuck at this point in the city with having an event like that at a hotel, so underneath a ton of hotel rooms. And so the fact that we, aside from the fact that the ballroom is spectacular, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to make this country look great every time it's used, it's also a meaningful safety issue. And so I very much wish that the plaintiffs and their counsel would take a different view, but if they don't, we are going to continue to fight in court like we have been, and hopefully the judges at the D.C. Circuit Court will do the right thing.
You said maybe get some better dancers on my polls, but what you want? This ain't that. This ain't, you on the wrong website. You looking for some dancers. This YouTube. What kind of freaking leak shit you on? Talking about get some better dancers on the polls, man. It did the wrong website.
Are you aware of...
Not you, the red.
Thank you. Are you investigating connections that Cole Allen allegedly had to left-wing groups? I think one is called the Wide Awakes, reportedly.
Yes. Of course we're investigating that. Now you.
Are you aware of his video game development past, including a potential shooter-style RPG game? I've
seen the news reports that talk about that. I think that the the positive and negatives of this type of case is that.
What are they talking about? Shooting Styles RPG game.
Thank you. Are you investigating connections that Cole Allen allegedly had to left-wing groups? I think one is called the Wide Awakes, reportedly.
Yes. Of course we're investigating that. Now
And
you.
Are you aware of his video game development past, including a potential shooter-style RPG game?
I've seen the news reports that talk about that. I think that the positive and negatives of this type of case is that there's a lot of people investigating this man right now, including the FBI. But the only investigations that truly matter in the court of law are the ones that Director Patel and his men and women are doing. So we'll wait for them to do that and get an answer.
Follow up, just really quick. Do you know anything about his alleged Christian past, Christian faith past? Because he said something about it in the manifesto.
I have read reports in the news, and I've read reports that say various things regarding his views of Christianity, his views in the past of Christianity, and I'm certainly not going to speak to news reports. I will wait, as I hope all of you would, for the investigation to continue until we actually have answers. Yeah.
A little technical question.
All right, chat. Everyone double tap the screen, shut a live out, man. Fries, bye. Get the hell on, Fries. Don't let the dough hit you on your way out, nigga. Chat, we're gonna do another live poll, man. Let's see, who was I gonna say? It was all right, we'll do it in a second.
You mentioned that you guys, so far, you think that Allen fired at least one shot. That doesn't say that in the affidavit yet, so I'm just curious if you can explain the discharging of weapon charge at this point.
Well, he's charged with.
All right, Chad, we'll do this one. Marco Rubio or Mark Cuban? If you had to vote right now for president, Marco Rubio or Mark Cuban? Marco Rubio or Mark Cuban, man? Let's get into it, Chad. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal. After this, we're gonna get into, I think Andrew Wilson debated Owen Schroeder. They used to be on Joe Rogan, but I got something before that. We'll get into that after that. All right.
Violating 924C, discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence. So by definition, that charge means that it was discharged. I can tell you from what I know, with the understanding that we're a day and a half in, that this is the gun that he discharged. And as those of us that have ever shot one of these know, what happens when you shoot that is the casing stays inside the firearm, and then if you reload it, it pops it out. My understanding is that it was inside the firearm, but hadn't been ejected, which means that it hadn't been pulled back again. But again, I want folks to understand, I'm the acting attorney general. I'm not on the ground doing the investigation, so I'm telling you what I've been told, and we'll, if that information changes, I'm sure that we'll let you know. Yeah.
Isn't it the same guy that said that we're not getting any more of the Epstein files, right? This is the guy that said it's over with for the Epstein files. Nobody's going to jail. All of the files that have been released are all of the files that will be released. Isn't that the same guy?
Just want to ask you about the letter that you posted yesterday that's sent from Brett Shumate to the plaintiffs in that lawsuit.
So he was Maxwell's lawyer. This is Maxwell's lawyer, right? This is Ghislaine's lawyer.
It says that the Washington Hilton is, quote, demonstrably unsafe for the President of the United States. It said that with the ballroom, that Trump will no longer need to venture beyond the safety of the White House perimeter. Just engaging with those lines, was there an assessment in advance of the dinner that the Hilton was demonstrably unsafe? And if so, why was President Trump allowed to attend it? And then separately, just the idea that by building the ballroom that President Trump wouldn't need to go outside of the confines of the White House. I mean, is that something that the American people, should find acceptable, that the president would have to be, for major events, confined to the White House? It seems like kind of a castle situation.
That is obviously not what he means by that. And the fact that question comes with respect to President Trump is laughable in the extreme. I mean, laughable in the extreme. You have a president who willingly speaks with you guys multiple times a day, I would say 7 days a week. He is active all over the country. I think what that keeping it to the four corners of that statement, when he says demonstrably, it's demonstrated by what happened on Saturday night. So that doesn't mean that the Secret Service would ever let the president go into an unsafe environment. I know that the director of the Secret Service will be focused on making sure that we always keep him safe. And by the way, as we said before, and as anybody that was in that room knows, we were safe. We were safe. We heard a lot of loud noises that at the time many of us thought could be guns going off. It was mostly plates falling because of the staff understandably were running. So my reaction to that is I'll leave anything with respect to security up to the great men and women of the Secret Service.
All right, so this was the guy that went and interviewed Maxwell as well. This is the guy that went down there and conducted the interview with Maxwell before they transferred her to the low security. Okay, so this is the guy that conducted that interview down there. All right, I know what they're talking about now. I know what they're talking about now.
But when we talk about having an environment like the ballroom, it's an environment like what you saw last night. So an environment where you have a unique blend of cabinet members, leadership of this country, leadership of Congress, reporters and members of the public.
Yeah, chat, did y'all know that this was the guy that went and interviewed Maxwell, I believe. This is the guy that went down there and interviewed Maxwell. Double tap the screen, shut live out, chat. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal. Let's smash past that next like goal. Carlos, you said you did know that, chat. Did you know that this was the guy that went and interviewed Maxwell?
Coming together for an event like that, that's different than other public-facing situations, which I have no doubt President Trump will continue to do as he said he would on Saturday night. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there, for FBI Director Patel, is there any other credible threats at this time related to?
I wonder how these people sleep at night, chat. I wonder how these people sleep at night. I wonder, like, do they ever think about, like, atoning for the shit that they're doing and covering up for? I wonder, do they ever think about that? Like, to just come out and say, hey, look, we've released all the files we're gonna release. Nobody's going to jail. You know, it kind of is what it is. Going down there, getting Maxwell a sweetheart deal, moving her to, you know, the damn place where she can play, what's that new shit that y'all play now, chat? Pickleball. She's out there playing pickleball, eating Reese's cups and shit. Like, golly, bro, that shit is crazy.
Events in the city, including King Charles, and then separately, the manifesto, I don't really want to give too much weight to this, did mention your name in it as someone that they maybe were not targeting. Do you want to kind of elaborate on that, and then also the political motivations there?
As to the latter, no. As to the former, the FBI and the interagency is constantly evaluating intelligence provided to us by interagency collection methods. Our partners in the federal and state and local levels, we are constantly relaying that information to the White House, to the Attorney General, to the United States Attorney, specifically here in D.C. And we will always assess each piece of intelligence and base it on the credibility that it was received and give it the due weight that it has. But as the U.S. Attorney has stated, and as President Trump's task force for Washington, D.C. has shown, we have reduced crime in this city by historic levels, and we will continue to do so, and we will continue to safeguard the men and women that call Washington, D.C. their home.
All right, just a couple more.
Acting Attorney General, in paragraph 14 of the complaint today, it says that the suspect fell, and you said that he was tackled. I just want to see if we can try to make sure we understand.
Well, I think that both can be true. And I would rely on the complaint because that was sworn to by an agent and not by the words out of the acting attorney general, who most certainly was not there. But I think both can be true.
The U.S. attorney yesterday also mentioned that one of the charges possibly would be for assault on an officer, and I noticed today it's a different charge. Is this because you've determined that what he shot didn't actually strike the officer?
We're still looking at that, and I think that's something that you'll hear about in the coming days as we know the answer to that. It doesn't legally matter in that situation, but you know, when after an event like this happens, not surprisingly, there's initial charges that we consider. Then you have the U.S. Attorney's team and the FBI.
Here we go, Brendan. We got another one, man. I don't know why y'all do this every night. Like, I don't put you in a fucking blender every time y'all come in here with this shit, chat. At this point, it's getting old, man. putting these people in a blend. Like if certain people were responsible for the highest homicide rate in the country, how would they sleep? I don't know. You'd have to ask mayors like the Detroit and Chicago. All right, let's talk about it then. They're trying to clean up crime. Is crime being cleaned up? I don't know. Ask your president. Didn't your president say the murder rate is down to the lowest level it's been ever? Didn't you? Isn't that what Trump said? Isn't that what we've been hearing? The FBI, we've heard the deal. Isn't this the lowest that homicide and violent crime has been in the history of America? So what is it, Brennan? What is it, Brennan? Now, I want to know how the Epstein class survives. How does the Epstein class sleep? How does the Epstein class sleep, man?
Looking through the evidence and figuring out what's the best thing to do, and that's what you have, right? Just one more question, yeah.
I have two quick questions. One,
All right, two
I
questions.
just wanted to clarify, you said the one officer fired their weapon 5 times. Was that the only officer who discharged a firearm?
I want to be very careful.
See, I almost said some shit, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, when Brendan get to doing this shit, I almost said, like, how do y'all sleep, Brendan? How do the PDFs sleep over there? We got the numbers, we got the data, we know who majority of the PDFs are over here. I was going to say, how do the PDFs sleep? Oh, I forgot, with their fucking daughters. That's how they sleep, man. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
In answering that question, because this is, when you do ballistics, evidentiary collection and research, it is very complicated. So when you fire a bullet, the bullet ends up somewhere. Sometimes you find it, sometimes you don't. And so from that, with that qualifier, we believe right now that there was 5 shots fired from the same firearm. But there's a team of folks looking at this that are experts, and the evidence collection team that were in that area of the hotel where the shots were fired will work all night. They have the evidence they collected, but it's not an exact science from the standpoint that, for example, the buckshot, when that shot, it scatters everywhere. Sometimes it just disappears, actually, depending on where it hits. So you don't have to, hopefully with that qualifier, that's where we are right now.
Question about the timeline, sir.
Hold on.
I just wanted to ask what law enforcement has learned about why he was targeting President Trump. Do you guys believe he was upset about a certain policy or a decision by the president?
The complaint lays out what I think is described as a manifesto, which is something that he allegedly sent to many folks, his family. That's what we have so far as his motivation. As the U.S. Attorney said a few minutes ago, what is clear from the complaint. And
you said Epstein class is so vague, specifically who? White men, white male fathers. Tim Tebow brought the data before Congress last month. White male fathers. If you want to did shit, fuck it. It is what it is. That's the Epstein class. White male fathers interested in the daddy-daughter shit, man. That's what I'm talking about. Epstein class.
From what we have so far is he was targeting President Trump. He described that in his manifesto. He was targeting administration officials. He described that. But as far as us understanding additional motivation, that's for the FBI and law enforcement. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Shit. You want to know the truth? I'll be trying to be cool in here, chat. I try not to get like that, but y'all bring it out of me. Now you talking about what about the black dads that aren't there? Like now you move the goalpost. You have nothing. Instead of you addressing or saying anything, even condemning the white male fathers with the daddy-daughter fetish pedophilia shit, the data's there. Also, 70% of the child porn downloaded in America is by white men as well. Instead of you saying anything about that, you move the goalpost. You go straight to black people. At least when Brennan first came here and he made a comment about the homicide rate in Detroit and in Chicago, I addressed him. Before I moved the conversation somewhere else, I gave him an answer. I didn't just say, you know what, fuck all that. What about this? See, you don't care. You don't care about the pedophilia in your community. You want to tell us to go clean up our communities while pedophilia and the daddy-daughter shit runs rampant in your, clean up your community. And don't deflect. Answer the question. Straight up, man. I'm talking about kids getting abused and shit. You talking about some whole other shit. You move the goalpost. Crazy.
Farm Easy Bank.
Should immediately default of Zionism, especially Christian Zionism. I am not a war supporter.
All right, chat. So this is Andrew Wilson. He's debating Owen Schroeder. He's debating Owen Schroeder on Trump's first year. He's debating Owen Schroeder on Trump's the first I guess Trump's last year and a half in office. They're debating on Trump's last year and a half in office. So chat, grade Trump's last year and a half in office. Do you give Trump A, B, C, D, or F? What's up, Grape C? What's up, Classified?
Order in Iran, and I never have been. I say this at the beginning of the debate, so when bad faith trolls who are on foreign accounts try to influence American politics in the comments, claiming that I'm in some way.
Nah, hell no. We not gonna say it's more the billionaire class than white men, man. Tim Tebow just testified to this shit in Congress, man. We not finna push this shit off on some classism shit, man. I'm from Arkansas, man. We know what the fuck is going on around here, man. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here, man? We talking about, man, come on, man. We're not about to place this shit. See, when the blacks have to atone for the crime rate and all of that shit, they just gotta atone for it. When we talking about this pedophilia, y'all want to push that shit to some billionaire shit. No, the billionaires doing it too, but it's a problem in that community, and we gotta address it. Hell no. Hell no.
A Zionist, pro-Israel, pro-Islam shill. You can shatter the lies by simply showing them the beginning of this debate, which they won't even watch, and you and I can laugh at their stupidity together. That said, I also don't believe Jews or Arabs are ontologically evil just because they are Jewish or Arabic. I represent a worldview, and I believe there are stupid and evil ideologies in this world, and those are the things I debate against and resist on a political level. Today we debate if Trump has been successful as a president. Usually I would clear this up semantically and quickly with Owen, but we seem to have the same general notion about what success means and doesn't mean, so we will just get right to the heart of the debate. I'd like to begin by pointing out that Trump stopping two different left-wing women from becoming president and being the first president who is a woman should immediately default him to the position of a successful president. As just that alone saved the nation from years of torment and suffering from the most insane.
All right, let's move on, chat. Let's get to the debate.
To say that at least to this point, it's not happening. But here's some of the other issues that I think are going to be more important when it comes to, is Trump going to be successful? The economy. The vast majority of Americans still believe the economy is heading in the wrong direction. We have more Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck today than any other time in recent history. And as everybody is well aware, our national debt continues to go to record highs, but it's not just the country that's in debt. The average citizen is in debt. It's so bad now that people are having to take out payment plans for pizza delivery. Now, you might not want to blame all of that on President Trump, and perhaps that's fair, but yet this is the economy.
Okay, Chad. How is the economy to you, Chad? Is the economy better or worse than it was 2 years ago? Is the economy better or worse, in your opinion, than it was 2 years ago?
Economy ongoing under President Trump, and it doesn't help when anytime there's another war on the other side of the planet, we have billions of dollars to spend on that while the average American continues to struggle. So the economy, I don't think you can claim has been a success. Tied into that is Doge, the Doge cuts. Elon Musk believed we could get $1 trillion in Doge cuts annually. We got a couple 10 million, and they stopped that. There's not going to be any Doge stimulus checks, whether you wanted that or not. So Doge getting cut out cold, I think, was a major failure. Barack Obama has deported more Americans.
But Doge getting cut out cold, Doge was overestimating the numbers. Doge stole all of the Social Security data, tried to sell it to a third-party company. So was Doge actually cut out too early, or was it warranted? Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. Doge didn't do the damn job it set out to do. Doge didn't do and for them to sell the third-party data and that not even been mentioned, like they were trying to sell that shit. It's crazy.
Americans than Donald Trump. Now, we might get into the details of that today. I will spare those details for the opening. I'm sure that this will come back up. but yet that fact remains.
It's like we're talking about all of this Doge shit, defund National Forest, defund this, defund Department of this, defund that, and we're gonna spend all of it in fucking Iran. Everything we defunded, all of the gains that we thought we were gonna get, it's fucking gone in 45 days, 50 days, times 10. Everything we saved is gone in 50 days times 10. So what the fuck was Doge really?
What about the deep state? President Trump himself has posted about treasonous politicians more times than we can count. So if there's politicians that are treasonous and you are the president, then I have to ask, where are the arrests? That's kind of the biggest crime you can commit in this country, and yet nobody has been arrested. Don't even get me started on the Epstein clients, which are apparently a hoax one day, and then the next day Melania Trump is addressing the nation on how the victims of the hoax need to speak to Congress. So I'm not sure where we want to go with that, but either way, no deep state arrests. Where are all the Epstein pedophile arrests? We're not getting those. These are things that people anticipated, and yet there's no success there either. And by the way, as you mentioned Trump's victory over the liberal women, which I think we'll all agree was a major victory, he was not the president when that happened. He's never won an election as president. Just thought I'd point that out. As far as the Office of Faith is concerned, it seems to be going about the same way of the Board of Peace. Nothing but vanity, no real results. You talk about the anti-Christian bias.
So, chat, how do y'all feel about Trump's Board of Peace? Trump is the chairman of the Board of Peace. That is a seat that he will not have to leave. That is an indefinite seat throughout the presidency, after the presidency. Trump is chairman of the board. How do y'all feel about that? Are you for it or against it? Trump being chairman of the Board of Peace. Are you for it or against it? This is an indefinite position. Chairman of the board doesn't have to go nowhere.
Yet look at who Trump is working with now. He's making sure that Karine Jean-Bowler kicked off of the Religious Liberties Commission for her political takes. Yet Laura Loomer, who is a vehement anti-Muslim, anti-Catholic psychotic, somehow has the ear of President Trump. So I'm not sure if that's really working for the anti-Christian. You know, wage growth, that's going to be an interesting one. I'm sure we're going to get more into that. But I think it goes back to the general economic picture that whether it's Trump or anybody else, Americans are still struggling. And I think if we be honest here, if we're going to be honest, a lot of this economy is actually Trump's fault. And I know he likes to blame it on Biden. But if you go back and look at it, it was the COVID economy that caused the permanent damage. It was the COVID economy that resulted in 10 to 15 to 20% inflation. Those are Trump's policies. Now, Biden was obviously a disaster. I'm not here to promote anything Biden did, but that was the Trump economy. The COVID economy is the Trump economy. Now, as far as accelerationism is concerned, I don't believe I have ever publicly supported that. I do understand the concept. I understand why people like it. I'm not here because I want Democrats to win. And I think this is a very important statement for me to make because much like in your opening statement, you wanted to clarify some things that people get wrong about you, I want to clarify this. I do not want Democrats to win. As has already been documented in this debate, Democrats have put me in prison. In fact, I was put in jail 4 times for supporting President Trump, including the last one when I was put in solitary confinement. So believe me, I know how dangerous the Democrats are. The problem is, it's not up to me. This is Trump. If Trump cannot get the Republicans over the finish line in the midterms, that has nothing to do with podcasters, it has nothing to do with accelerationists, and it has everything to do with President Trump and the GOP. And ultimately, that's going to be the major measuring stick as to whether or not he's successful.
Hey, Sonny, you know how this shit go. You know how this shit goes, Sonny. This bait is on Uncensored America if you want to watch this motherfucker uninterrupted, Sonny. You know how this shit go. I get to pausing and get to talking and shit, man. Get to doing live polls. Chat, double tap the screen. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal. We're 28 likes away from 300. Let's get to 300, man. Double tap the screen.
Thank you very much for that 5-minute opening as well. We'll jump into the 5-minute rebuttals. The timer is set for you, Andrew.
Why is his mic so low?
This is just straight time, right?
You said straight time?
Yeah, so 5 minutes each?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. So let's go through a bunch of this stuff. Let's start with the economy. He seems to be pretty upset about the economy and says that it's all Trump's fault. In some ways, he's correct, and in many ways, he's not correct. So progressives warned us of this, right? Progressives said, if you cut all this immigration, GDP go down. Why? Because they have an influx of cheap labor, right? You have cheap labor that comes in, that artificially keeps the wages depressed for corporations. They can then sell you things and goods for cheaper. Pretty simple, right? So what does Trump do? Stops all this mass migration. Prices go up. I'm stunned. We were forewarned of this for years by the opposite.
Yeah, that came out today and said that immigrants pay more in taxes than average citizens. I forgot who put out that study today. It was somebody who's actually, I think it was a libertarian study.
Side by progressives. And so what's hilarious about this is that, yeah, it is in fact going to be the case that if American companies have to start paying fair wages to American citizens, prices are going to go up. But you can't have your cake and eat it too, Owen. You can't say, I want there to be no mass migration to the United States at all, and I want all my goods and services cheap. It's not going to work that way. How can it? Can you explain to the audience what the Owen Schroyer policy would be to offset that? No, you can't, because you wouldn't have one. You're going to have to eat shit on that. One way or the other, you're going to have to. The other problem is, he says there's a war on the other side of the planet. That's true, there is. It's been going on for about 7 weeks. That's about it. 7 weeks? That's our big, hang on, it's my rebuttal time. I won't interrupt yours, I promise. 7 weeks, not quite the forever war that we were promised from the other side. And it seems to be ramping down. Not only that, when it comes to that war, what we find is that most of the exports in oil are going from China. They're going to China. How does it not behoove the United States strategically to do something about that? Of course it does, and we can dive into that too in the open back and forth. Now, I'm not a big supporter of foreign wars, especially not in Iran. I'm not making any excuses for it. I'm just pointing out something which is obvious. He also says Elon Musk did Doge cuts. Were Democrats going to do Doge cuts? No. Trump made that promise, and that's exactly what they tried to do.
All right, so I got the study. It says Cato Institute data shows immigrants paid more in taxes than they received in benefits every year from 1994 to 2023, generating trillions in net fiscal surplus. Yeah, and that's from the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank funded by the Koch brothers.
He's been hamstrung at every level. This guy has 3 times the amount of court cases against him as any other president does in the last 50 years. It's ridiculous. Democrats hamstring him at every corner. So,
thanks, White Buffalo.
Let's talk about Epstein. That's another big one. With Epstein, you have to separate mythology, the actual mythology of Epstein, from the facts of Epstein. To hear the other side tell it, there is a global pedophilic satanic organization which runs the United States. The evidence they have for that? Fucking nothing. They have nothing. They have no evidence whatsoever. Guarantee you he won't be able to provide us with any evidence for that. Not a single shred. Not only that, I'll tell you something really interesting. I do know of a satanic type religion of pedophiles, and right this second, Trump's blowing them up. Right this second, as we speak, he blew up their leadership. The Ayatollah Khomeini instituted child marriage, as young as 9 years old inside of Iran. And we're killing them, overwhelming. You want to talk about pedophiles? Let's talk about pedophiles. Where are they at? I can tell you who we're blowing up right now who are pedophiles. That would be Trump blowing up pedophiles. That's what he's doing currently. So it's really funny to me, the Epstein people, hey, wait a second, we're totally anti-pedophile, this is ridiculous, there's pedophiles at the top levels, they have no evidence for that, and yet if we just look not too far away, we see that there's an entire nation of pedophiles. Do you mind doing trade with them, right? Owen Schroyer recently said, I don't care why, or he said in his debate with Shabos, why is it that Iran is not allowed to have a nuke, but Israel is? What are you advocating for there? That a whole country full of pedophiles is allowed to have a nuclear bomb? Why should we allow?
Chat, everyone hit the like button for me. We're 9 likes, excuse me. We're 9 likes away from 300, man. Let's get this 300 likes, chat. I forgot what kind of drink this was, but Popeyes got a new drink, and that thing purple. I don't know what it is, chat, but it was all right. I'm not gonna lie, the little drink was all right. Whatever the little frozen slush thing is from Popeyes they got, I think you can only get it in the little Naruto meal, man. I don't know.
Allow that. It's ridiculous. Moving through some of these other problems, she says the problems Republicans podcasting means nothing. When we're talking about Trump, especially in his second term, podcast meant everything. In fact, Kamala Harris said it herself. Joe Rogan. And the fact that Trump went on Joe Rogan really helped push him over the top. Harris regretted the fact she didn't do the syndicated radio shows. He didn't do the podcast circuit. She didn't do any of that. She regretted it. She said that she regretted it. She even blamed Myron Gaines, a podcaster, for parts of her loss. She blamed him and the evil manosphere, because they don't.
Nah, I didn't get the meal. I just got the drink too strong. They had told me that you can't get the drink unless you buy the meal. But yeah, I just told them I wanted the drink anyway, and they put that bitch together for me. They put it together for me. Excuse me, Chad. But yeah, they put it together for me. But they're not even supposed to sell the drink without the meal.
I don't want women to be president, like somebody else who's on the stage right now. So as we go through this, I'm kind of happy. I'd like to get into the back and forth as quick as we can so that we can see if any of these criticisms actually hold muster. He says he's not addressing corruption.
15 seconds.
Yeah, he's not addressing corruption head on. It's like, wait a second. What do you mean? He's going after the SPLC right this second. As we speak, super corrupt organization, which was working with the deep state, by the way. Just pointing that out.
With that, we'll kick it over to Owen.
I've never watched Naruto, Abba. Only reason I know it come with the Naruto meal is because I was trying to order the drink by itself. And the lady told me, like, hey, we don't sell the drink by itself. You have to buy the meal. And so I didn't get it that day. But today, you know what I'm saying, I went to Popeyes and shit was a little different. I was able to get the drink, just the drink.
Owen for his 5-minute rebuttal as well. Floor is all yours, Owen.
All right. Well, as far as when this war started, obviously there's a lot of contention in the geopolitical debate realm, but at least for this administration, it started last June with Operation Midnight Hammer. And since then, we haven't gotten a lick of honesty because we were supposed to have annihilated or obliterated, was the official word from the president, their nuclear capabilities. And then they came back a few months later and said Iran was weeks away, days away from a nuke. And
Asha comes through supporting the channel via Super Chat. Thank you, Asha. I hope you're having a good night, man. I hope you're having a good week. Thank you, Asha, for supporting the channel. Lau says, my testosterone is off the charts, but I'm celibate. Man, you're about to explode over. Why are you telling us that you backed up, man? Why do we need to know you backed up, man?
And so now we're over there again. And I think to most people, they perceive this war.
Hey, Patty says, shut up. Patty, you shut up. How about that? Hey, I show up here every night to run my mouth. Nobody called you over here, Patty. Go home, Patty. Go home, Patty. Thank you, EMAC. EMAC comes through supporting the channel via Super Chat. Thank you, EMAC, for showing up, man, and supporting the channel. But yeah, Patty, ain't nobody asked for you to come over here. Carrie, go home.
I think accurately, as just another regime change war. Now, you may not care for Iran's leadership. You're not going to get any pushback from me on any of that. And yet the facts remain. This was a regime change war. They lied to us about it from the very beginning. There is a major contingency of Trump's voting base that voted for no new wars. It was part of the campaign promise. In fact, Trump himself, for decades, has been talking about how we've wasted blood and treasure in the Middle East, wasted it, his own words. He ran against Bush's wars in his first campaign in 2015 and 2016, and he even said...
Oh, Lau, you said there was a signal to the ladies? Well, listen, Lau, I'm going to tell you. Telling them women that you backed up and you full of testosterone and you celibate, man, you going to scare them off. They going to think you about to break something, man. You going to scare them off, all of them built up tension and anger and shit, man. You going to run them off.
Said specifically no more regime change wars. So
Thank you,
that's
Emac.
just a total reversal of policy on that, and this has people wondering who's making these decisions. I don't need to get into that now, but we're not even getting consistency on the messaging in the last couple of weeks. The strait is closed. It's not closed. We've won the war. The war's not over. We need to go in. Nobody really knows. And by the way, I think Trump does that strategically. But nonetheless, the truth is that we don't get any honesty from this administration. It just doesn't add up. And as far as the strategy with China and Russia, I'd like to think that this is all going to work out in our favor. I'd like to think that that's the play that Trump is making. However, it doesn't appear to be going in our favor. I think that most of the world is looking at the foreign policy of this administration, and they're seeing it as very, very favorable to Israel, which
Yeah, I'm just gonna be real with you. Loud. Only people that come home from prison can say that. So, like, if you come home from prison and you're like, I'm celibate, full of testosterone, you might get some. But just being in the chat talking about you celibate, full of testosterone, folks gonna wonder what you got going on, man. Hey, that's only for people who just came home.
which is essentially a pariah of the entire international community. And so instead of perhaps these countries maybe driving away from Russia and China, I think they're driving to China and Russia and away from the United States because of Trump's aggression, again, in the Middle East, as the world views it, on behalf of Israel. As far as the Dems, hamstringing Trump, I think that happened a lot in the first administration. I'm not really seeing as much of it in this administration. But this gets back to the deep state. I thought we were talking about criminals. I thought we were talking about the Obama administration committing treason. We were talking about them illegally spying. And yet now President Trump says, I'm okay.
Oh, if you're a female and came home from prison, they don't count. They are gay for the state in the female prisons, man, for the most part. 2026, man, you just come home. Shirley comes through supporting the channel via Super Chat. Thank you, Shirley, for always showing up. Thank you, Shirley. But yeah, when women go to jail, man, and then come home, it don't even matter, man. They gay for the state, man. 2026, man, they in that thing, man. They putting them tampons together, man, wrapping them up in that cellophane, man, going off. Put the kids up, man. This plug out the dark, man. Put them kids up, man. This a grown folks show.
Okay to give up my liberties for safety. I'm okay with them illegally spying on you. That doesn't really sit well with me, and I think the Dems are going to look at that very favorably when we get to the midterms. Israel does have a nuke. It is it's a violation of the nuclear proliferation agreement. They're not supposed to have one. Everybody knows they have it. In fact, technically, they shouldn't even be our ally because they have a nuclear weapon, but somehow they're above all of these rules. Now, again, I'm not here to take any ground in defense of Iran, but I will point out the fact that Israel is famous for repatriating pedophiles.
Hey, listen, Vale, I'm sorry, man, Vale. Don't be a party pooper, Vale. Don't be a party pooper, Vale. If you want some refreshments, you can head on over to the bar. It's open bar. You said how we go from political talk to this BS talk. Got it out. Y'all, for real, don't nobody want to know about that stuff. Let's go. Listen, Vale. We have fun over here. We're not, you're a little too dense. You need to loosen up, man. I don't know if you need to take a walk, take a breather, get some fresh air, come back later, Vale, but you're being a party pooper.
That is a fact. Everybody knows it. American pedophiles are able to flee to Israel and get safe harbor there. We have many, many instances of this. Now, the Epstein files, I don't know how deep we want to go into this. This one is a little confusing to me. You say, show me evidence that there is a pedophile ring. Well, I would slap down on the table, not even 50% of the Epstein files. We don't even know how many we've gotten, but it's 50% max. There's not a single Iranian in the files, not a single one. Now, there is a certain group of people that are in there, but we don't need...
Chat, I just now noticed that they have an ad for damn prescriptions. They got gabapentin on there, medical kits, hydroxychloroquine. Man, what the hell is going on?
Need to get into that. But they all are rich, and they're not in prison, and that's where they should be. So I don't really want to have to think about Iran's cultural issues. These are Americans and people that were using them for blackmail to get leverage over our country. That's how most people perceive these Epstein files, of which we don't even have the entire files. But in them, we see references, what appear to be killing people, taking women, young women, babies as sex slaves. Who knows what else is going on in these files? There's very obvious code language. I know this. If I was able to get one of my kids' cell phones, and I'm reading through this cell phone, and they keep talking about pizza and grape soda and jerky, I'm going to pull one of them aside and I'm going to say, hey, what are you talking about? And if they say, oh, I'm just a pizza connoisseur, me and my friends just make beef jerky and eat grape soda, I'm going to say, bullshit. Tell me what the hell you're talking about. If I see you saying, I'm going to get pot from my friend, I know you're not talking about a potted plant. I know you're talking about drugs. So it's obvious the same thing is going on in these emails. Where is the investigation? If your kid brought that to you, you would not believe them for 1 second. You'd say this is clearly code language and I'm going to investigate what it is. I think we should continue to investigate these Epstein files instead of continuing to cover them up, because I do think there is a there, as most other Americans do, and that's something that Trump campaigned on and many of his administration talked about for years.
And time. With that, we're going to jump.
It's going to be hard for Andrew to defend that. He'll probably deflect back to the Iran situation, but it's going to be hard. Like, I mean, the whole administration ran on it. Trump ran on it. The administration got confirmed on it. Everybody did, and it's a big nothing burger. It's going to be really hard for Andrew to defend that.
Jump into the crossfire. This is 40 minutes, so this is fully up to you guys. If it gets too rocky, I'm going to jump in and put it into 90-second responses. So the floor is yours, gentlemen, for open dialogue.
So I wanted to start, if we could, with Israeli repatriation of pedophiles. So you and I both agree that this happens and it's abhorrent. Do you know that what the numbers are, roughly?
The last story I read was a CBS story. It was a couple dozen, I think.
I think total that I could find, I was being as charitable to your view as I could, it's about 200. That's a lot.
Why is the mic so low?
But it's nothing in comparison to the Catholic Church. Nothing. Which is somewhere around 100,000 children, perhaps, or more. When we talk about this idea of pedophilia here in the United States, Owen, this is my big issue with this, is that there's always a red herring, right? The red herring is, well, Israel repatriates pedophiles. It's like...
Chad, how do y'all feel about them bringing legislation forth to let Americans that fight in the IDF get veterans benefits? They're saying that there are 20,000 Americans right now fighting in the IDF, and they should have U.S. veteran benefits. How do y'all feel about that, Chad? Should the Americans fighting in the IDF get benefits?
Yeah, that's true. So does the United States in a way, though. We have passport bros who they go to Malaysia, they have sex with underage kids, and then they come back here. It's the same exact principle applied. The only difference is there's no official right of return. There doesn't need to be. They're already U.S. citizens. But when we're talking about this, we know where the groups of pedophiles are. We've known this for years. The Catholic Church, for instance, again, part of the one...
2 Republicans brought that bill forth, I believe, a year and a half ago. And they're still pushing it. Two Republicans brought that bill forth a year and a half ago to give some. I'm gonna pull up the article so I can go a little bit more in depth. I'll pull it up.
One of the largest pedophilic scandals in the world. Which church do you belong to again? Is it Catholic?
I have no qualms with what you're saying about the Catholic Church, whether I identify as one or not. So go ahead. I will sit here all day as a confirmed Catholic and ridicule their pedophilia.
Yeah, I'm just saying that when you use the red herring of the Israeli repatriation...
How is it a red herring if it's true?
Because, the red herring happens when
Didn't you admit it's hundreds?
When you say, hey, wait a second. Yeah, hundreds.
So it's a real thing, so it's not a red herring.
No, the red herring portion of it is when you obfuscate away from the argument on the Epstein files as though there's a global cabal of pedophiles. I point out in Iran, there's an open cabal of pedophiles. You say, well, Israel harbors pedophiles too. It's like, no, they don't have official policy for pedophilia, dude. They don't.
Okay, we'll get back into that. Give me 1 second, chat. It says the 2024 IDF bill and the questions of extending U.S. military protections. A real policy push to emerge in 2024 to extend certain legal protections to Americans who served in Israeli Defense Forces. In 2024, members of Congress introduced H.R. 8445, a bill that would have amended federal law to provide the eligibility of the United States citizens who serve in the Israeli Defense Forces for certain protections relating to such service. Under current law, U.S. veterans' benefits are tied to service in U.S. Armed Forces. The statutory definition of veteran appears at 38 U.S.C. 1012 and limits eligibility to those who served in U.S. military forces or narrow statutory exceptions. H.R. 8445 would move away from that framework. Max Miller, Republican from Ohio, and Guy Reschlanther, Republican from Pennsylvania, said the bill was intended to support Americans serving in Israel and noted that over 20,000 American citizens are currently defending Israel. They added the legislation would ensure we do everything possible to support these heroes. The proposal explicitly frames IDF services as deserving of treatment similar to U.S. military service for certain protections. Reports summarizing the bill stated it would treat Americans serving in the IDF in the same manner as service in the uniformed services for specific legal protections. It will provide protections such as limits on interest rates, protections against eviction and foreclosure, relief in certain medical proceedings. So it wouldn't be health care, but it would be a select few other things.
Hold on a second. You just admitted you're talking about people that have been actually charged with crimes of pedophilia that Israel knowingly takes in.
No,
they are very
that's
well
not in
aware.
every instance. That's
So
in
they are
some
very
instances.
well aware.
Sometimes it's suspected. One of the big key ones was an Australian case I'm sure you're familiar with. That was one of the big key ones, but it's not always the case that they're charged with anything. There are lots of them are just suspected of this.
There was just
the same way that the United States
there was
is
just an
suspected.
hold on.
Yeah,
There was just
go
an
ahead.
IDF security official, Alexandrovich, who just got charged, caught in a bust, and he fled over there. He's gone.
Of course.
Chat, hit the like button.
Give me a comparable story this year to the.
My bad, chat. Hit the like button. Let's get to 350 likes right quick, chat. Let's look at the likes to match the viewers. Everyone double tap the screen. Make sure you have hit the like button. We're also 18 subscribers away from 47,400, man. Let's get to 47,400 subscribers, man. We're 18 away.
You can find the same thing.
Show me the Catholic Church. Show me the Catholic Church finding a pedophile and saying, "Come to the Catholic Church."
They moved them to other churches. What are you talking about?
So
to allow them to continue to offend hundreds of thousands of cases.
So
What do
show
you
me.
mean?
Show me one name.
I'm supposed to remember every name of every
I
bishop?
just gave you one name in the last year. Tom Alexandrovich, IDF
Are you
security
denying
official,
that the
fled to
Catholic
Israel.
Church doesn't move around pedophiles?
No, I just said they do. I
Then
can talk
why
about
are
the
you-
Catholic Church all day
then-
long.
then why are you
But we're
arguing
talking
the
about the
point?
Trump administration dealing with the Epstein files. That's what we're
Yes.
talking about.
So
here.
as we're diving into the Epstein files, give me your biggest piece of proof that Donald Trump in any way knew about any pedophilia, and name actual names of people who you're willing to say are pedophiles in that administration. Go ahead.
Okay, I never made either one of those claims.
Exactly.
But I will respond to your question. Howard Lutnick lied when he said he hadn't been to the island since he found out. He got caught lying. He took his family there. This was after.
Howard Lutnick did lie. Chat, I want to ask y'all this. Why did Owen Schroeder go to jail 4 times for Trump? What was he at January 6th? Why did Owen Schroeder go to jail all of those times for Trump? For supporting Trump?
Epstein had already been a convicted pedophile. Now, if Donald Trump wants to claim he has plausible deniability as far as Epstein's activities are concerned, I suppose that's fair
Are
enough.
you even claiming that guy's a pedophile?
Well, you know what? If you want to talk about the things Trump has said about
Hang on,
his daughter
answer the question
Ivanka,
before
we can
you
talk about
obfuscate.
it. We can talk about
Answer the
Donald
question.
Trump. Hold on a second.
Are
We
you
can
going to call that guy a pedophile?
Have
or
I
no?
called Trump a pedophile once?
Well, this is why I'm getting clarification.
The answer
on
is
this.
no.
The reason I'm getting
The answer is
clarification
no.
is because on the Epstein files, people refuse to separate mythology from fact. And there's a lot of mythology here. And this mythology that you guys continuously talk about, that Trump is in some way associated with this global cabal of satanic pedophiles, but you never name names, you never give evidence, your only evidence is they don't give us evidence. Why would you trust the evidence that these people give you anyway? Why would you even trust that anyway? You don't trust them, the evidence that they've given you so far. So why is it always the demand is like, I want endless evidence of a thing that we always make claims about, but can never demonstrate? Why?
So Trump is obviously maybe mentioned more than anyone else in the files. If you want to claim that he has nothing to show illegal in the files, that's fine. Howard Lutnick, however, lied when he said he hadn't been there.
Chat, I'm going to ask y'all a serious question. Do y'all think that we ever get the missing Epstein files? The remaining, I mean in full, do y'all think we get the rest of the 3 million missing Epstein files ever? Do y'all think we will ever get them, chat?
He is still in the Trump administration. He was just running point for their meeting at the Oval Office just last week. And he's in the files taking his kids to Epstein Island. So would you take your kids to Epstein Island?
Well, okay, so are you saying at the time there was media scrutiny that this was a pedophilic island?
Yes, 100%. 100%. Epstein had already been charged. He'd already been in jail.
Are you saying this guy took his kids to the island to get them raped?
I don't know what he took his kids to the island for.
Yeah,
He denied it.
What's
He
up,
denied
Shanna?
it.
Again, by the way,
He denied it.
this again
He
is
lied.
absence of evidence means that that's evidence. That's not evidence.
No,
you
no,
guys
no. Did
never
Howard
will
Lutnick,
actually
hold on,
name.
did Howard Lutnick go to the island?
I'm not sure.
He had
This is my prediction, chat. I predict that we get the Epstein files one day in a WikiLeaks-like situation. I believe it's going to be like a WikiLeaks situation with the way Claude and that Mythos and Pegasus and Anthropic is going with these AIs. I believe that someone's going to get it. A lot of countries like Iran threatened to have it. I think China said that they may have the full unredacted Epstein files. So I believe that it's going to come out in a WikiLeaks-like situation.
admitted it. He's in the files.
Yeah,
He took his kids.
I'm not sure on that particular, but it's irrelevant, the particular, because even if I grant the particular, you won't actually call the guy a pedo because you don't have evidence. You never have evidence, just claims. Claim, 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 no evidence for it. Now, I'm willing to cede a bunch of points to you. If you can show me some evidence of it, happy to do it.
So you-
Trump
wait a minute,
was,
hold on.
hang
Are
on,
you
I'm almost
contending-
done.
are you
Trump was
contending-
actually right. He claimed that the Democrats were going to use the talking point that
Yeah, I think that that's how they're gonna do it. It's gonna be a WikiLeaks situation. They're gonna say it's fake, it's a hoax, and then eventually they're gonna just come out and be like, "Oh, well, shit, it's been out anyway. We thought y'all knew."
Trump's a pedophile, Trump's covering for pedophiles, the whole 9 yards. He says, yeah, that's a hoax. Whole thing's a damn hoax. And it is. The whole damn thing is a hoax. They've been calling this guy a pedophile. You just said he's named in the, how many times is he named in the Epstein files? That's a Democrat talking point. But what's he named in the Epstein files for actually doing? What?
Well, there are FBI investigations that have some pretty serious claims. They never
Not
manifested
credible.
anything.
They
That's fine.
literally
That's
say
fine.
not credible.
So we're not here to have a debate over the Epstein files. But I
You brought it up as
but
a
I
reason
do
he's a
find it
failure.
odd. No, you are the one that brought it up. But I do find it odd that you're going to pretend like Howard Lutnick didn't lie about going to the island after Epstein was convicted
I'll even
and took his
see
kids.
the point.
Are
Even
you
if
going
I
to tell
do
me?
see
Hold
the
on a second.
point, it doesn't help your
Are
point.
you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me that Donald Trump was not friends with Jeffrey Epstein?
He was initially friends with Jeffrey
So-
Epstein,
so
but
he
he
is-
also
so he is-
also banned him from his properties.
That's fine, and he might have helped bring him in.
Hang on,
too.
he banned him from his properties, and he was also front and center at pointing out to people that Epstein was a creep. That's one, and two, everything that's mentioned in the files, Michael Tracy has done great work on this. He's gone through them ad nauseum.
So
the
have I.
things which are put in there about Trump are ridiculous on their face.
Hold
And
on
the
a
claims
second.
from various people about Trump are noted inside of these files most of the time as being not credible at all.
Here's what's credible. Alex Acosta is the one that cut Jeffrey Epstein his sweetheart deal. It was so bad of a deal that they had to re-examine it and rearrest Jeffrey Epstein and put him back in jail in New York City.
Which
where he
administration
ultimately-
that happened
Where he
under?
was ultimately
But that's what I'm saying, chat. Even when it comes to this, I do think there's an Epstein cover-up. I do think all of this shit is connected. But this is a culture. It just doesn't happen in Florida. It doesn't happen in just Florida. It happens everywhere in the United States. This is a culture. People do heinous things to children and get a slap on the wrist. What just happened to Trump's spiritual advisor, his former spiritual advisor? He got caught graping a child that's not even a teenager yet, multiple times. He done 6 months. 6 months in jail. Multiple times, 6 months in jail. This is a culture that is fostered.
Killed.
Yeah, which administration did that happen under?
The Trump administration.
That's right. He got
which is actually
rearrested
starting
under
to
the
look
Trump
a little more
administration.
suspicious. It's actually starting to look a little more suspicious now. Yeah.
How is that more suspicious? So
he died in jail.
What administration?
How
did
did he die
Acosta?
in jail?
What administration did Acosta?
Trump's.
Was he in when he cut the deal?
He wasn't in office. Trump wasn't in office.
Yeah.
Acosta was an attorney.
Whose administration was that under?
Obama's.
Obama. So Obama, we have Acosta, goes ahead and gives him the sweetheart deal, right, under Obama. Under the Trump administration, they rearrest Jeffrey Epstein. Isn't that amazing? The guy protecting the pedophiles.
What's up, Mina?
So the person that Trump brought into his administration is the one that cut Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart deal that no pedophile, child sex trafficker has ever seen before in their life. Such a sweetheart deal, they had to rearrest him again.
Yeah, they have seen it before in their life. First
So
of
look,
all,
whether Trump-
he wasn't even
hold on.
accused.
That's what I'm saying, Chad. Y'all don't remember, what was it in, was it Alabama or one of those states? They found all of those kids living under the house in cages and shit. They were bringing them in and out. The parents are bringing the kids down there and shit like that. Man, it's crazy, Chad. Then that woman in Indiana, she just got caught trying to sell her daughter on Snapchat for $400. A 6-month-old. Talking about 200 before, 200 after. A 6-month-old, bro. Talking about the dad's not in their life, the dad's not in her life, and I live alone. Damn woman's trying to sell her 6-month-old, bro. It's fucking crazy.
Of pedophilia, what he was accused of was localized trafficking in Florida. And yes, people have been cut sweetheart deals for that. You're full of it.
Okay, so your stance is Epstein was not a pedophile and there's nothing in the Epstein files. Because I don't want to debate this the whole time.
I didn't say that. My stance is that there's bold claims which are made, and I can see you running from it. I don't blame you for running from the claims.
This isn't the
but
debate. I'm not
you don't
here
have
to, I mean,
evidence.
I could. You're on a
Is it
losing
a failure
side.
of Trump's
This is
or not?
worse. Absolutely.
Well, then it's
Absolutely.
part of the debate.
There should be dozens of Epstein
Then
arrests.
it's part of the debate.
They are literally
Of who?
covering it up.
Tell me who.
Exactly. They've redacted the names.
Who should we be arresting? Exactly.
I'd love
what does
to
that
know.
mean?
Why are all the names redacted from the files?
Because
Why haven't they
I'll
given
tell
us
you.
all the files?
I'll actually tell you. And if you had done your due diligence, you would know this.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying, Chad. It's like they're talking about bringing back firing squads. It's like Louisiana castrating people. It's like you got a situation to where in Louisiana they're castrating men about that shit. Chemically or physically castrating men. Then you have other states that just let you walk out scot-free. 6 months in jail. 6 months. 6 months and this man is back on the streets. The pastor now. The pastor, y'all. This the pastor.
Because they're victims.
No. Because victims advocacy groups and lawyers have tied this thing up like nobody's business. And again, Michael Tracy's done the
And
research
no
on
pedophiles
this.
go to jail.
Which pedophiles should go to jail?
The ones that they've redacted.
Louisiana, the only one that got it right. Louisiana might be a shit state, but they treating those PDFs shit the way they deserve to be treated. Cut that nigga's nuts off. Cut that nigga's nuts off, man. The fuck you mean he's getting out of jail in 6 months? Being able to eat free and do all kind of freaky deaky shit again.
So
What are their names?
So Epstein trafficked kids to no one.
No, Epstein was getting kids.
So Epstein?
Ghislaine was trafficking kids to him.
Okay, so Epstein raped all the kids. No one else did.
Name a single person he trafficked a kid to.
They're all redacted from the file.
Thanks, White Buffalo. Yeah, if anybody has the YouTube gifts for watching the live streams, they give y'all the XP points. If y'all had those YouTube gifts, be sure to spread the wealth. That's how you can support the channel for free with the YouTube gifts, the XP points.
files. What are you
The
talking about?
files
You
don't
can
even
see,
indicate
you
that.
can
Who?
see in the emails. He says, "I have girls. How old do you want them? I have girls. I don't like yellow. I want Russian." That's all right there.
That's not him. There's nothing
Thanks,
to
E-Mac.
do with pedophilia. As far as you know, show me some
As
evidence.
far, so
of
as
it.
far as you know, it does.
Wait a second. Absence of evidence is not evidence. Do you agree with that?
No, I'm using your logic against you. If you're saying
My
it
logic
doesn't
works
prove
for
anything,
me and not for you.
Okay, so I'll accept this because I don't want to debate. So Epstein was not a pedophile. He was not trafficking children to anybody. He was not friends with
I'm willing
Trump.
to see
They're
that
not
Trump-
covering up.
I'm willing
They're
to
not covering
see-
up the files.
I'm willing to see the distinction between the mythology.
Thanks, Gracie.
of
Thanks,
Epstein
Too Strong.
trafficking children to all of these various pedophiles is a mythology. I'm also willing to see that Epstein himself may very well have been a pedophile, but it seemed like the trafficking was going to him. And you have no proof to the alternative of that. And even when you point at Acosta,
So what is
this
Epstein
happens
doing?
under Obama, rearrested under Trump. Trump's the only one who released any Epstein files at all, signed in the Epstein transfer.
Thank you, Asha. That is correct. I think Trump, I don't know why I'm cutting out, Brian. You might have to leave and come back. Everybody hit the like button. Trump is the only one. It doesn't matter, Brianna. You just showing up is good enough, Brianna. Thank you. Trump is the only one that released the Epstein files. He is, but remember, he tried to block it. They had to damn near pull some teeth to even get out those first 3 million files. Remember, Pam Bondi said they had the binders, they gave it to all the YouTubers, then they said it was a hoax and it was nothing, and then she was like, oh, it was at the Southern District of New York with the Comey lady, and they had truckloads and truckloads, then it turned to a hoax. Yeah, remember, it was like pulling teeth.
Transparency Act.
Yeah,
Congress also
after
pushed for it.
after they redacted them for weeks, they still haven't
Because of
released everything.
victims.
They still haven't released everything, by the way.
How would Trump unredact them? Can you explain that to me?
Well, they shouldn't be redacted at all.
Yeah, but how would Trump unredact them?
Well, it's actually pretty easy. I think he calls them and says, hey,
No.
unredact these
No, no,
names.
no. That's the judicial branch. That's a different branch of government.
And he can call them and tell
Trump's
them to do
allowed
that.
to do that with classified documents. Not allowed to do that with redactions. Those redactions are going through the judiciary. So what should Trump do here?
He can easily declassify. He can easily release everything.
They're not classified. They're
What's up,
redacted.
Fugel?
Then why aren't they released?
He did release them.
Not
he
all
released
of them.
millions of documents.
Not all of them.
And not only that, again, how would he get them unredacted? Tell me.
Not even all of them. They're
Tell
not
me
even
how
all
he would
released.
get them unredacted. How?
It's very simple. You bring out the investigators and you simply read the names that are redacted. That's all you got to do.
You mean like they did in front of a press?
Now, Andrew Wilson is completely talking bullshit. Yes, certain names do have to be redacted, but Trump could push the issue. Just like Trump told Greg Abbott to go get me 10 more seats in Texas, just like Trump wrote an executive order to ban in all the states from AI, just like Trump is telling Blanche right now this shit is over with, just like MTG is saying that Trump was blocking the files. Come on now. Trump did release some, but we not gonna act like he can't make the other shit come out. John comes through supporting the channel via super chat and says, death penalty for all PDFs. Make it law. Thank you for supporting the channel, John. Thank you for supporting the channel.
Club and those poor guys who weren't actually pedophiles got
That was-
calls and threats and everything else?
That happened to one guy.
Yeah,
that
but
happened
I mean,
to one guy.
that's reading the names of people who aren't even related to it.
Okay,
And this
so-
is the problem,
So
man.
this is good. So you're satisfied with the Epstein files?
I didn't say satisfied, but I'm pointing out that I'm not willing to make claims that Donald Trump's a bad guy based on redactions that he's not responsible for. You can't tell me how he should unredact them. You can't tell me
it's
who
very
the,
simple.
who
I want
the
all the
victims are.
files.
You
Show
can't
me
tell me
all
any
the
of this.
files. What do you mean the victims go in front of Congress every freaking day?
I only want to jump in just because, given that we have only 40 minutes for the open dialogue, though it's been epic so far, I just want to be sure if there are other topics you want to cover. We have 28 minutes left.
I would say,
Can we
would
move on
say
to the economy?
The Epstein files is a debacle and a disaster for
The
President
releasing of the Epstein files was a debacle. I agree with that. The problem is that what I'll never accept is lack of evidence being evidence of a thing. And while you pretend that there's a global pedophilic ring that you have no evidence of controlling the United States, I can show you a global pedophilic ring which exists right out in the open that Trump's blowing up right now.
So Epstein didn't put a bunch of security cameras in all of his places. That didn't happen. He wasn't working with Maxwell, the daughter of the top
Yes,
Israeli
he worked with
spy.
Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, there were security cameras in his various places. All of that is correct. That's, again, you
That's-
asking
that's called
questions,
evidence.
not providing evidence.
So why does he do that for?
Wait, there's cameras here. What's that evidence
This is an
of?
event. This is a televised event.
Yeah, but what's that? What's it evidence of?
Who is Epstein televising what's going on in his room?
He
to?
he wasn't televising anybody. Got any proof?
So why are there cameras installed?
Because the same reason rich people have cameras all over their houses.
So he has them in all of his bedroom secret cameras?
What secret cameras? Can you show them?
Yeah, they're in the emails. He literally hired IDF security people to put secret cameras in all of his rooms.
No,
It's well known.
no.
He
You're
had
talking-
a damn
you're
security
talking about
room
in
with
one
monitors
specific-
in his
yeah,
mansions.
You're talking about one.
Willie, shut the fuck up and watch. Watch this shit, Willie, before we put your ass in the corner. I see you over there talking, Willie, and I'm going to tell you like this, William, we will put your ass in the corner in timeout. So just shut the fuck up and watch the show, man.
Specific instance in one specific room, by the way, not on all of his properties and not in the Florida properties. And those are the ones where he got convicted of all these things. So what are you talking about? You're talking about a completely unrelated thing.
Hey, that boy Will said, I'd live to see you try it. Your ass in timeout for 5 minutes. Watch this shit, Willie, or swipe up on the live. Don't threaten me with a good time.
So what I'm asking you, do you have evidence that Trump was part of a global pedophilic ring or that anybody was?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
Give me your best piece.
The Epstein files.
Now go put your nose in that corner, Willie. Go put your nose in that corner, Willie. And don't get your dirty ass fingers on my wall, Willie.
Best piece in the Epstein files.
The whole freaking thing. What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Okay, so hold on. So was Epstein convicted?
Not of pedophilia.
Yes, he was.
Okay, who?
Was Maxwell convicted?
I'm sorry.
Was Maxwell
I'm sorry,
convicted?
I'm sorry. When was Jeffrey Epstein convicted of pedophilia?
Epstein, jail. Maxwell,
When
jail.
was Epstein
Jean-Luc
convicted of
Brunel,
pedophilia?
jail.
When was
Two of them committed suicide
When was Epstein
in jail.
convicted of pedophilia?
I think whatever the first charge was, 2007 in Florida?
That's not. He wasn't convicted for pedophilia. That wasn't
Trafficking
pedophilia.
children
That-
isn't pedophilia?
First of all,
So now you're saying Epstein wasn't a
he
pedophile?
He was doing underage. There was one or two of the underage prostitutes that came from the school. That's true. But I
So
think
that's
they were
underage?
I think they were 16, 17, not prepubescent children.
So do y'all give Andrew Wilson a pass? Andrew Wilson's up here defending, some pedophilia shit right now, man. Is this all in the purposes of debate? Do y'all look at this like a lawyer taking a crazy case? Andrew Wilson sounding a little crazy right now for the purposes of this debate. I ain't gonna lie, man. Might not want to leave my kids around Andrew, man. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Might not want to leave the kids around Andrew, bro.
It's a whole different ball game. He wasn't convicted of pedophilia.
Okay. So Epstein wasn't a pedophile. Glad we got there.
I didn't say Epstein wasn't a pedophile. I said you haven't given us any proof he is. Got some?
Yeah, there's no proof Epstein wasn't a pedophile.
Oh,
guys.
I'm going to
No
use an
proof.
argument from
He
incredulity.
killed himself in jail.
I
Nothing
wanna
to
jump
see
in.
here, and
No,
we
I
should
do
probably
want to-
pardon Maxwell
I'm
too. at
totally,
this rate.
I'm
do
totally
wanna jump in.
incredulous, but I have no evidence of my claims.
Just because the economy is another topic we might want to cover still while we have time. We do still have about 25 minutes.
Anyway, so I try to operate off a facts basis. What happened, I'll just sum this up real quick, and then I'll give you the last word on it, to be fair. I'll just summarize it very quickly on Epstein.
All right, chat, let's do it like this, chat. Would you let Trump babysit your kids, man, for one day, man? 24 hours just trumping your kids, man. Would you let Trump babysit your kid, man?
Epstein very well could have been a pedophile and likely was himself a pedophile. But when you make these claims about demonic global pedophile rings which control the United States, yeah, I want some fucking evidence. I do. And I'm not willing to throw the President of the United States that I voted for under the bus without any evidence. I'm not. So, if you want to tie it off, you can.
Well, I'll just say we also saw on the Democrat.
Y'all crazy as a motherfucker. I wouldn't let none of y'all know Trump. Y'all just gonna send y'all kids with Trump. You talking about would I let Biden watch my kids? Hell no. Can't none of you motherfuckers watch my kids. What is wrong with you? You see how quick for a little fame and a little whatever you push your kids off on fucking, you don't even know this guy, man. What are you talking about? Y'all need to reevaluate some shit. I'm just gonna be honest. And we wonder how these kids getting touched and abused and shit, because y'all let them go with any fucking body. Any fucking body. All I said was, would you let your kids go with Trump? Y'all, yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, you can go with Trump. Do you fucking know Trump? I'm not letting my kids go with no fucking body, man. What is wrong with you?
Democrat emails spirit cookings and children in the hot tub for entertainment. But there's no evidence of pedophile rings or anything.
You're talking about
I'm sure none of it
Podesta
happens.
spirit cooking?
I'm sure none of it
The
happens.
big art project
That's right,
spirit cooking?
Podesta, that's right.
Yes, Leon Podesta, who was part of a
I hate to
massive
push
art
us
project
into-
for spirit cooking, along with, how about we talk about Rocket Pizza? Did they have babies underneath there, Owen? Did they have children in the
good-
basement, Owen?
Good opportunity to go into the economy.
Yeah. All right.
Tell my do I ever have my kid? Hell yeah. Why you think I come on here at night? This a night show for a reason, Chad. I scheduled this shit around the kids. What are you talking about?
So, moving into this, I just got a single question for you. Owen, how would eliminating mass migration into a net negative not cause economic downturn or higher prices? How's that even possible?
Well, it's actually, there's a simpler fix to that, and that is you have to cut taxes. You have to cut them significantly. You have to cut them immediately. Americans are paying roughly 30% of the money that they make plus the property that they own. That number needs to be single digits tops, and a lot of Americans will have a little more money to take care of their bills and take care of their family, but we're not really having that happen. Now, I feel like this whole argument is assuming that Americans don't want these jobs.
No, it's assuming they do. In fact, my argument to you is just, I'll simply state it. If it's the case that we bring in, I don't know, 100,000 immigrants tomorrow to California, let's say, okay, and they're willing to take $10 an hour less than the Americans who are there, would you agree with me that that'll probably save you prices in goods and services from whatever that corporation is or company?
Probably,
Yeah, probably. So like if you took McDonald's and you paid them $25 an hour, your cheeseburger's going to get more expensive. You agree with that? So you can offset that with immigrant labor. Do you agree that that's likely true?
Yes, but I don't believe that's the solution.
I agree with you. But if it is in fact the case that Trump is doing his job, which it seems like he is since we have negative net migration, why wouldn't it be the case that if we're deporting all of these illegals and they're self-deporting at an overwhelming rate, of course your localized food prices are going to go up because most of these jobs are now going to Americans. In fact, this is exactly what Cato is saying. They're saying we're getting hurt mostly in the economy because Trump is not even letting legal immigrants come in. I thought that was what we wanted, man. We want to stop that legal and illegal immigration. But it's like, not if your fried chicken's going to go up 30 cents. What are you talking about? We want that, right?
Well, the deportation numbers are not where they need to be. I don't know how much that falls into the economic realm of things. Obama deported more people than Trump, so we're not.
There was a
getting
lot
those
more people
numbers.
to deport.
But I think that there's other reasons for that. I think that this gets into the, let's say, failures.
Yeah, that is a good question. I homeschool my kids until they got kindergarten age. So yeah, my kids go to kindergarten. They're in a public setting. I mean, like staying the night with just one-on-one with a damn adult that you don't know is crazy. But yeah, I did homeschool my kids until like they didn't do the daycare and all of that shit at all.
At the Department of Justice, which maybe they're just starting to get into with the SPLC, but I don't know. We'll see about that. If we
My kids couldn't go with nobody until they could fucking talk. You know what I'm saying? Until they could tell me what was going on, how it was going on, where it was going on at. Yeah, they couldn't go no fucking where.
come back to that. We're being told as Americans, hey, buck up and pay more for gas. It's this war in Iran. You've got to buck up. It's your patriotic duty to pay more for gas. That is a war that's being fought in the foreign and special interests. Do you think Americans might be willing, instead of paying another extra $1 per gallon of gasoline, maybe an extra 10 cents for a cheeseburger if they know that means Americans are taking the job? I mean, that's essentially what we're being
But most
asked.
Americans don't know that because even people on my side are running around saying Trump's not deporting enough people.
Thank you,
We have
Albert.
a net negative in migration right now. Those
Well, we do
jobs,
have a closed
hang on,
border.
those jobs,
What's up,
yes,
Paul?
a closed border and net negative migration, legal and illegal. More people are leaving than coming. That's for the first time we finally got that. It's like, yeah, prices are going to go up from that. You know this. Why not be honest with
prices
people?
went up
If
from
that's the
prices.
case,
No,
and then we're
prices
talking
went
about
up from
gas. Hang on,
tariffs.
I'm almost done.
Prices went up from tariffs.
Okay.
Prices went up
You
from
want to get
energy.
into tariffs? We can do that in a second, but let's start with the gas prices. All you're doing is pitting Trump against Trump. On the Biden level, at his top, do you know what the gas prices were?
About right.
Lover of the Light comes through supporting the channel via Super Chat. Thank you, Lover of Light, for always showing up and supporting the channel. Thank you, Lover of Light, for the donation. Thank you again. Y'all give Lover of Light some likes, chat. Double tap the screen, shuttle live out. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal. Hope you having a good night tonight too, Lover of Light. Chat. Who is winning this debate up until this point, man? We're almost halfway through. Owen or Andrew? Who is winning this debate, Owen or Andrew?
Right where they're at now?
No.
If you had to pick, you cannot say neither. Neither is not an answer. Owen or Andrew?
Way more. They were over $5.50. Yeah, they're $1 cheaper right now at the peak of Trump than they were at the peak of Biden. So you're only comparing Trump's gas prices to Trump's gas prices. Because if you compare them to the Democrat, they were still way higher. I mean, way higher.
But
now,
when did the price go up?
Trump speculation mostly.
No, when did the price go up?
Oh, I thought you said why did the price go
when?
up?
When did the
well,
price
the price has been going up steadily and decreasing
Since we
steadily.
attacked Iran.
Yes, correct. Due to what? Market speculation. And you can't control speculators, and neither can Trump. It's not because we have some supply shortage of oil. Where's our shortage? Nowhere. We're not getting oil from Iran. We don't even have the processors for their oil. That goes to China. So we have no shortage, but our oil prices go up. Why? Because of speculation. And you just completely omit that. Not only do you omit that, but you omit this other part, which is you still haven't explained how it is that we're going to have net negative migration and prices aren't going to go up. They are,
Hold
right?
on a second. Trump is the one that claimed that he could get gas prices down.
He
He's
did.
the one that made that claim.
And
it
he
hasn't
did.
happened.
They're lower than Biden's peak by $1.
No.
Yes.
No, this is actually a formal debate, Top Cat. They have a moderator. They're in a debate setting. They did opening statements. They did a back and forth 5 minutes, and now this is the 40-minute open dialogue. This is actually a moderated debate. They say a lot of these guys that do these debates don't want moderators because they want to be able to, do the personal attacks and make sure that their audience thinks that they won no matter what. But with the moderator in a formal Oxford-style debate setting, it's a lot different. I think Owen would have fared better in just a YouTube live setting where it's not an actual moderator formal style. I think Andrew's more in his element right now.
Okay, but we don't even know if we've seen Trump's peak. If this war in Iran doesn't end,
you can't just say, well, I'm incredulous, they may go up more. They're actually going down. They've been going down steadily.
gas
not up.
prices are going down?
Yes, they're going to be going down, yes. And speculators, by the way, are speculating that, which is why they're going to be going down. Interestingly enough, when we're talking about oil prices, though, and gas prices, yes, at Biden's peak, they were $1 more than they are the national average right this second as we're talking. I even made sure this morning before we came in, just to be sure. And yes, that is in fact the case. So it's like you're only comparing Trump to Trump, and even with him blowing the shit out of pedophiles in Iran, like the Ayatollah Khomeini, he still managed to give you $1 cheaper gas than Joe Biden did.
But you just said it wasn't Trump. You just said it was the speculators. Now you're giving credit to Trump. So I don't know what, I'd like a little consistency.
Okay, so wait a second. So you're going to blame it on Trump instead of the speculators, but when I say even under those circumstances it's $1 cheaper, that can't be because of Trump.
Let's
It's
be
like,
clear. No. Here's
I
my metric.
want the consistency.
Here's my metric.
Yeah.
Trump said on his campaign he would get gas prices down.
He did.
He hasn't done it.
Yes, he has.
He's even admitted that we had to take a detour off of America First to do this war. He said it's over. It's not a war.
He
it is
has
a war.
gotten
We've won
the gas
war.
prices
Still,
down. What
Gas
are you
prices have
talking
gone
about?
up since we started the war.
Yes, gas prices went up when we started the war due to market speculation.
So Trump started
I
a war,
agree.
and now gas prices are higher. That's
yeah,
the fact.
but you're only comparing Trump to Trump. And if you're going to compare him to Biden,
I'm comparing,
gas
Trump,
is still
I'm
cheaper
comparing
than the Democrats.
this administration to this administration.
Exactly.
Gas prices have gone up since he started this war.
Yes, and if you follow Trump's plan, gas prices are likely going to bottom out because he has control of
hope.
oil there,
That's a nice
control
hope.
over oil in Venezuela.
That's a nice hope.
He has control over all of it.
Venezuela oil won't be ready for probably months.
But we still have control of it. What did I say? In the future, it'll go down.
We'll see.
Why?
I hope
The
that's the
speculators
case.
say the
I hope
same
that's the
thing.
case. But that's not the case right now. And Americans are struggling financially. And now here we are in another war in the Middle East, and we're sick of it.
Are you going to blame market speculators?
I'm going to blame Trump for getting us into another war on Israel's behalf. Yes, I am going to blame Trump for that. He did that.
So help me out here. Can you tell me all of the downsides of Donald Trump killing pedophiles in the Middle East?
Chad, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't blame Trump for getting us into this conflict. I don't. I honestly don't, Chad. Do y'all think Trump got us into this conflict in Iran? Do you blame Trump?
First of all, do you know every single person? Were those schoolgirls pedophiles?
It's institutionalized in the Iranian
Just
Constitution.
no. Were the 200 schoolgirls pedophiles?
You want to make sure that they're alive so they can get raped? But that aside, no, of course not. But there's going to be deaths inside of a war.
Okay, so it is a war.
Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't a war.
Does he need
I'm not going to
congressional
quibble
approval?
over the word.
See, the reason I don't blame Trump is because of what Rubio said. Netanyahu is going to attack anyway. I blame Netanyahu, if y'all want to be honest. I believe that no matter if Trump was in office or Kamala was in office, America would have been involved in this war because of Netanyahu made the decision. Rubio said that they were talking about imminent threat. He said we knew the imminent threat was there because we had intelligence that Israel was going to attack and we would be attacked in retaliation. That's the reason I don't blame Trump and I blame Netanyahu. I don't care who was in that seat as president. I believe we would have got involved.
Even though there's no ground invasion, there's no boots on the ground, there's none of that. I just want to know, how is the global interest served? You're so concerned about pedophiles. He killed one of the most major ones who's ever existed since the late 1970s.
Well, he was friends with Epstein.
He put it
who's probably
inside of
bigger,
the
but-
Constitution of Iran that you can marry 9-year-old girls, dude. And by the way, Khomeini,
That's good.
Khomeini,
So-
hang on, almost done. Khomeini was married to a 15-year-old. Perhaps by the lunar cycle could have been 14. His son was married to a 14 or 15-year-old. A lot of his high command were married to children as well. Trump killed all of them.
And the reason I say that is we could say it was bullshit intel, which it probably was. But if Israel attacked, we were going to get hit in retaliation, in my opinion. And we have to look at everything that was going on around Netanyahu. Netanyahu had the corruption case going on. Netanyahu has the ICC warrant as well. On top, the president of Israel just chose not to pardon Netanyahu. Netanyahu wanted a pardon for his corruption case, and the corruption case is still going on. I believe this was in a way to extend that corruption case. Netanyahu ain't trying to go to jail.
All of them without a single boot on the ground.
Great. And I'm sure after we've killed thousands of Iranians, including young schoolgirls and the entire
Pedophiles.
family, I'm sure that the Iranians are going to be less.
He has been saying the same thing for he has been saying the same thing for years, but the difference is now he got a corruption case on him. Back then he wasn't fighting for his freedom as well. Now he has a reason.
Radicalized because of that. So I'm not
Radicalized? What do you mean? How do you get more
Iranians
radicalized
dying.
than marrying children, dude?
What do you think they're going to
What are
stop?
you talking about?
You think they're going to stop?
No, well, I'm just saying, how do you get more radical? You're like,
No, when I say we would have been attacked, I'm talking about our bases in the GCC. I'm talking about our bases over there. All of the bases that they attacked, you know, Syria just said that they took control of all the military bases that we left. We know that the bases in the UAE and all of those GCC countries were attacked immediately. Immediately after we launched that joint attack with Israel, the one that Rubio said Netanyahu was going to act alone and do. Netanyahu said he was going to do it too. Those were all of the bases that were attacked. That's what I mean when I say we were going to be attacked, is our bases in the GCC.
oh, the Iranians are going to get more radicalized than marrying kids?
Well,
like
let's
all
see,
the
how many
United
times-
States
hold
blowing
on,
up the
hold on.
pedophiles is going to
Hold on,
really
hold
make
on.
them
How many countries has Iran been bombing this year?
Well, Iran is a state sponsor of terrorism. You agree with
And
that?
is Israel a state sponsor of terrorism?
I think that Israel's done many terrorist
Is
actions.
America a state sponsor of terrorism?
I don't think that America generally is a state sponsor.
I think it would have been attacked anyway. Even if it wasn't a joint attack, I think we would have been attacked anyway because they would have said we provided the weapons and intelligence. So that's a big thing. That's a big thing that's going on too, is us providing the weapons and intelligence.
Sponsor of terrorism.
Okay,
no.
well, in the Obama administration, it's very well known we were arming moderate rebels that turned into
In
ISIS
American
and turned
interests,
into
yes,
ISIL.
that's correct.
So America backs these proxy groups. The CIA backs these proxy
But that
groups
was
all
due to
over the
Bush
planet.
doctrine. Most of
And
that
now
was
Trump
due-
isn't. Now Trump is Bush.
Trump has where's the forever war?
We're in the Middle East.
Not a single boot on the ground.
We've been in the Middle East the majority of Trump's administration.
Is there a single boot on the ground in Iran?
We have been at a.
And we got to be honest, bro. We're all sold out anyway. They sold us out anyway. Whether it was Kamala, whether it was Trump, America would have been involved. I'm just being honest. Out of the two candidates that we had, America would have been involved.
War
Answer
in
the
Iran
question, bro.
since
Is there a single
yes.
Okay, where?
That's like
Where?
all over the Middle East. We've got boots on the
No,
ground.
in
all over.
Iran.
We've
In
got
Iran.
boots on the ground.
Where's our
in the
invasionary
strait?
force?
We got people in the strait. We're talking about going to Karg Island.
Oh, we had 7,000 people there, and now there's 10,000 people there.
Marzi, what do you mean, no? I'm a true idiot if I think that Kamala said that Iran was the biggest threat to the United States when she was campaigning. Kamala said it out of her own mouth. Do I need to pull up the clip? They asked Kamala who was the biggest threat to America. She could have named any country in the world. She could have named Russia. She could have named China. She could have named North Korea. She said Iran. So what makes you think she would have handled it differently? If she said Iran was the biggest threat to the United States while she was campaigning.
Where's the big invasionary force to take over Iran?
So, okay,
Where's it
fine.
at?
I'll tell you what.
Where's it at?
If they do go into Iran, what will you say
Yeah.
then?
Well, at that point, I'm done.
Okay, fair enough.
It is the case.
Fair enough.
I've drawn the line for myself that if there's a ground invasion in Iran, that would be a continuation.
What about casualties?
Hang on. That would be a continuation of the Bush policies.
What about casualties?
Hang on. Let me finish the point, and I'll get to casualties too.
What's up, Arthur
If
Ward?
it's the case that there's a mass ground invasion.
What's up, Stay Safe?
Then yeah, I would have to pull support then because that would be a continuation of Bush forever war doctrine. However, limited strikes like what we saw in Venezuela, or 6 to 8 weeks, which is what we're seeing right now, that's not enough to pull my support from this president, especially with all of his success in domestic policy. Even if I grant you, and I'm not a fan of the war, I'm not an advocate of it, but even if I grant it that it's the worst thing he could have possibly done, it's not going to change the fact he's been a successful president. His domestic policies alone in eliminating crime and mass migration and being a net negative, that's what people wanted more than anything. It wasn't just the forever wars, it was the mass migration. That's what Trump always harped on. And he's been after it and after it and after it. And he did deploy the National Guard to protect these various centers in these cities while ICE was removing these people from the nation.
What's up, doctors?
Democrats did everything that they could do to stop him, including court cases, terrorism against them, and everything.
Nah, Brian, I'm not saying we needed to start the war with Iran. Y'all know how I am. I told y'all I'm damn near a nationalist. I think we need to mind our own business. What I'm saying is this, is that if we look at all of the AIPAC money, if we look at our relationship with Israel, we just talked about them trying to extend veteran protections to the IDF, the Americans fighting in the IDF. We understand the presence that we have in the Middle East, right? The GCC specifically. It was going to happen. Kamala, Trump, it was going to happen. The deal was already done. The reason it was going to happen is because Netanyahu's timeline was accelerated. They've already said, a lot of these rabbis are calling Netanyahu the last prime minister. They're saying he's the last prime minister. Netanyahu had a corruption case going on. He needed a reason to postpone this corruption trial. The timeline was accelerated.
Everything else in between. So it's like all of those show me that the guy's very successful.
Now, we can say Kamala wouldn't have gone this deep. We can say that. We can say it might have played out differently, but as far as America being involved, I'm standing on that. America would have been involved because Netanyahu's timeline was accelerated. Now, how it played out, the blockades, the back and forth, the blowing up the leaders and all of that, it might have played out differently. It might have. Kamala might have listened to the generals. She probably wouldn't have fired as many generals. It would have been a little different.
Even if I grant it to you how bad Iran is.
Well, I think that they made a major blunder on the deportations because now they're basically stopping them. They should have gone after the Democrats first. Quite frankly, they should have been arresting Democrats for treason. Alejandro Mayorkas should have been the first arrest. He should have been hauled in front of Congress. And you're a little too late going after the SPLC, in my opinion, which is now being, funny enough, it's actually being directed at the right. They're now using this SPLC thing to claim that anybody that's a dissident on the right is paid for by leftists and needs to be censored. That seems to be the theme with that. But they should have gone after all of these groups right out of the gate, Andrew. They should have gone after all the Catholic charity groups, all the Jewish charity groups, all these groups all along the Rio Grande, all
All right, Chad, are we? Yo. Yo. I don't know why it keeps going out. They don't want me to say this shit, Chad. They don't want me to say that shit. Y'all telling me to chill and shit. I get the, cooking a little too hard. Everybody hit the like button, man. Y'all know how this shit go, man. Y'all know how this shit go. Let me reset the camera. Let me reset the camera, Chad. Hold on. Y'all hit the like button. This shit crazy. All right. So what I was saying is this, is that Netanyahu has a lot of these rabbis and the people around him banking on him being the last prime minister. Netanyahu has this corruption case going on right now. Netanyahu you got to understand, man. Listen, Netanyahu's not trying to go to jail. Netanyahu, they're trying to push this agenda. They're trying to force fulfill prophecy. They're trying to get the Greater Israel Project. They don't have time to switch leaders. That's why they were saying even if Netanyahu was unalived in that strike, that they would try to keep him alive through the AI. That's why they're saying that now they're saying he has, I believe, cancer and he's been treated for it. But it's like Netanyahu is important to this, what they're trying to accomplish right now. Netanyahu is a piece that they can't afford to have taken off the chessboard in this moment.
All these groups on the southern border, all the Democrats that brought him in, all the Biden administration.
Hell no. They supposed to have elections. They was just protesting against Netanyahu the other day. A lot of those people were out there protesting in Israel against Netanyahu. Hell no. If Netanyahu goes to jail, they're supposed to have snap elections, I believe. I think they're supposed to have snap elections anyway. Because there's an opposition leader that's talking crazy about Netanyahu right now.
That brought him in, all of them should have been hauled to jail.
Yeah,
and they weren't.
Except they have due process, Owen.
And what process have they started?
Hang on.
They haven't even started the process.
So how do you know the SPLC?
Because there's no results.
Tell me, how long were you aware of the SPLC investigation?
What are the charges? They're all financial crimes.
Hang on, let's walk through this. When were you aware of the SPLC investigation? When they released it, right?
Yes.
Same thing with Zelensky. And Putin, like they're saying that Zelensky is trying to extend the war because he wants to, he doesn't want to go to jail. He doesn't want to get elected out and possibly go to jail. Y'all heard what Putin said. Putin said, man, bring Zelensky to Moscow, man. We know Putin got ICC warrants too. Netanyahu has ICC warrants. They're trying to, man, I'm telling y'all, chat, they don't give a damn about these warrants and shit, man. He trying to stay in power, man. Push some agendas, move some pieces.
Yeah, so when they released it, you're not aware of what the Trump Justice Department is investigating or not investigating.
Show me the evidence.
He said
You're the one who wants to talk about. There's no evidence of your claim. Lack of evidence, lack of claim.
Hang on. He said multiple times that he wants to bring James Comey up on charges. Right? He said multiple times that he wants to go after these people.
Those charges got dropped.
Instructing his Justice Department to investigate these things. We're finally starting to see the fruit.
Chad, what happened to that John Bolton case? Did they drop that John Bolton case on taking home the classified documents? Y'all remember when they tore John Bolton's house up, had him outside in his drawers and shit? Whatever happened to that case where he was supposed to taking documents?
My evidence is we're finally seeing the fruit. With the SPLC, I'm guaranteeing you that there's going to be other organizations which are indicted for various things like this. This is exactly what it is that you said that you wanted. It's at least a step in the right direction.
They've only been charged for financial crimes. They need to be charged for
treason. So was Al Capone.
They need to be charged for treason.
Yeah, Al Capone. Al Capone was not charged for his mob hits or for bootlegging or this, that. He's charged with financial crimes.
You're not comparing Al Capone to 15 million invasion of this country.
It's the case that you go to jail for 15
years. Al Capone is more of an American than Mayorkas.
If you go to jail for 15 years for the crime of murder or to jail for 15 years for the crime of for some type of financial fraud, you can prove the one but not the other. Which one would you go after?
I would go for it all. That's what the feds do.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what they did to me.
No, you wouldn't. If you could prove
Absolutely.
one but not the other, you would go after the one you could
No,
prove.
no, they always overcharge so they can get you a plea and get their incarceration rate and get their conviction rate. I would know. I've been through it before.
Sure.
Regardless, we're talking.
Yeah, they did say Trump had to declassify files in Mar-a-Lago. They did say that.
Talking about almost 2 years into this administration and no deep state arrests. None.
Who do you want to see arrested?
I just told you Mayorkas. There's one. How about the Obama administration?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Chad. Trump, Kash Patel said there are about to be arrests for the 2020 election. Who do y'all think is gonna be arrested for the 2020 election? Kash Patel tweeted last week and said that they're about to start making arrests for the 2020 election. Chat, we're 28 likes away from 400. Let's get the 400 likes right quick while we're here chilling. Double tap that screen, go to the top, make sure you've hit the like button, man. Let's get the 400 likes right quick, chat. I wonder who they're gonna arrest for that 2020 shit.
Yeah, how about John Brennan? How about James Clapper? How about James Comey?
Tell me what your process would be to arrest them.
Okay, first of all, Dan Bongino, who was the deputy director at the FBI, spent 8 years writing books and doing a podcast all about arresting these people. He gets in there and does none of it.
Yeah,
So
the
did
same
he,
Dan Bongino who talked about what was going on in the Epstein files ad nauseum, how none of it made sense.
And then changed his mind.
Because he went in and saw, here's what's funny. Why would anybody ever want to go work for the Trump administration from the private sector, especially somebody like Dan Bongino, if it's the case that he goes in, looks at the evidence, reviews it, and says, actually, I got this wrong, and you guys fucking crucify him for it. You crucify him for saying, look, I got this wrong. And it's like, why would anybody ever want to go work for the Trump administration if that's going to be the case, Owen?
Imagine that. You give us...
Because everybody else is saying that they didn't get it wrong. All of these people in Congress that have had access to the Epstein files and they were getting traced depending on what they looked at inside the Epstein files say that it was some shit going on. Bongino didn't get nothing wrong. It's an active cover-up going on. What the fuck are we talking about, Andrew?
A little peek into what's going on in the Epstein files, and it makes people even more aware and more suspicious, and then you say there's no there. If anything, our peek at the Epstein files showed us that there is something serious there. Very serious.
You've never, look, not only have you never provided any evidence for that, but your other problem is you didn't actually answer my question. What incentivization would like, let's say Trump drafted you to go to his administration to investigate these things, and you went in good faith and you did. And you came back and you were like, look, I took a look at all this evidence and I was wrong about this. And then all of your friends and cohorts and everybody else who was cheering you on fucking crucified you for it.
You know what, Andrew? It's funny that you say that because that's literally happening to me right now.
From who?
That's literally happening to me. From this new MAGA right cult.
Who?
I already did this. I already put my time in.
Yeah,
I
but
was
who's
arrested.
crucifying
Hold on
you
a second.
for it?
Hold on a second. Hold
Yeah.
on a second. For four different times I was arrested for supporting Trump, okay?
Yeah.
Now,
All incorrect, by
now,
the way.
Now, you like Trump, I don't like Trump. Now, beyond the point, I already went through that crucible. I already put my face, my name, my neck out there. And it's not even that I necessarily did it for Trump. I did it for the truth because I believed Trump was innocent and I wanted to support him.
But how
So
are you
I've
being
already been through that.
crucified?
I have MAGA people putting me on lists. I have
What
MAGA
list?
people doxing me. I have MAGA people sending people to my house. I have Laura Loomer in my box all day telling me she's telling Trump
That's-
to
hang
post
on.
negatively
That
about
was
me.
typified-
Trump posted something about me. He told me to shut the fuck up. So I got arrested 4 times for this guy, spent months in prison for this guy, did everything for this guy, censored, lawsuit, everything, lost all my social media, kept supporting him. And then what is the one recognition I get from him? Fuck you, shut up. I don't even care. I did it because it's the truth. And now the truth is, this administration has turned against us. MAGA has now been weaponized against us, and Trump is now the very globalist that we were supposed to get out of the White House.
This is ironically hilarious. So the first thing that you claim, you say, hey, look, I was crucified for my support of Donald Trump by Democrats. Do you agree it's by Democrats?
Well, actually, first it was by Republicans because we were going up against...
Never Trumpers.
Yeah.
Like you are right now.
No, I'm not a
So
never Trumper.
anyway,
I voted for him 3 times.
What happened is, well, now you're like, oh, he's the worst thing ever.
No, I'm
when
saying
you're talking about,
he's failed. This administration
he
has
hasn't
failed.
failed. And when you're talking about this, Democrats were the ones who persecuted you. Democrats were the ones who threw you in jail. They were the ones who didn't want to give you a fair trial. Me and my wife, we advocated for the release of J6ers everywhere that we possibly could, yourself included.
And I will give Trump
Okay?
that. That is the biggest victory.
Yeah,
I will never
huge
regret.
All right, chat. So do y'all think the January 6ers were wrong or not, chat? Were they wrong or were they not wrong, chat? How do y'all feel about the J6ers? What's up, Carolina? What's up, Carolina? How do y'all feel about the J6ers, man? Was that wrong or was it not wrong? Chat, we're 19 likes away from 400. Let's get the 400 likes right quick.
Victory.
Voting for Trump because he did that.
Yeah,
Never.
huge victory, okay? But not only that, let's dive into this a little bit deeper. When you're talking
See, chat, I wasn't here for January 6th, chat. Like, y'all know I was incarcerated. January 6th happened, I was still incarcerated. So I wasn't here for that. That whole experience, like I wasn't around for that.
about your supposed crucifixion now by the right, Trump hasn't shut down your channels. He hasn't done any of that. Under Biden, that was a sure thing
Well,
to
let's
have
not
happened.
be so sure that's not going to happen soon.
You say gonna, hasn't though. Okay, under Biden it was a
Isn't that the whole point? Is
Under-
none of this stuff has happened under Trump, and you're
Biden-
saying, oh, but it could.
Hang
It's
on,
like,
under
that's the point.
Biden, no, it's not. Under Biden, it would have, for sure. He was working with Facebook and these other groups in order to shut down people who had podcasts. You have a voice right now, that's true. The President of the United States might have told you to shut the fuck up, but he still gave you a platform to tell him to shut his fucking mouth. That's the distinction.
No, Trump did not. That's the First Amendment. That is the First Amendment. It was given to us by the
Well,
founding
Biden
fathers.
didn't give a fuck about the First Amendment.
And
'cause
neither.
Yeah, I missed all of that, Robert. Yeah, I got all my rights restored now, though. I got my gun rights, my voting rights. You know, they had me by the balls for a while, but I got everything together. But yeah, January 6th, the whole pandemic, when they said everything was shut down and it was like a zombie land and ghost land, like, I was watching that shit from the TV. Like, I didn't see any of that, chat. When I got out, like, everything was open back up. Like, J6 was done. Like, I didn't see any of that shit. I was just watching it on TV.
He was
Neither does
working with the
Trump,
tech
and
companies
neither
to
does
shut you
Trump.
down.
Trump
so-
doesn't care either. Trump, they'll censor us
Okay.
under Trump. They already
Yeah,
did. He
where?
did nothing.
Where?
What are you talking? When did I get censored? What year?
No, the Trump administration.
I was censored under Trump 1. I
How-
was censored from
show me
2018
what
to
policy
2022.
of Trump's administration censored you? What?
What did he do for it? What did he do to end the
That's
censorship?
different. That's you got to make a distinction.
No.
here.
You're the one
If
making
it's the
claims that
case-
Trump did something
Yes,
for me.
he did.
I'm not asking Trump to do anything
did.
for me. I'm saying that
He
we had
instructed his
censorship under
Department
Trump.
of Justice to stop putting pressure on Facebook and these other groups for censorship. He promised he
But
would
that
do
is
that.
happening. That's why
did
he
do
just.
it.
Shit, I was locked up on for like 8 months, like 7 months. So when I didn't go to prison, chat. I didn't go to prison. But when I was locked up, the pandemic hit, so they stopped all court. So I ended up not being able to go to court, not being able to get out. I didn't have a bond because it was a revocation, but I couldn't go to court to have my revocation hearing. Even the first hearing, they just kept pushing court back, pushing court back, pushing court back. So by the time I even got through like my second court date, it was already like May or June. It was over with, chat. Like all of that shit being shut down, I didn't see any of that really. Like it was open back up. Kobe died. I was in jail when Kobe died. I remember that. I watched that on TV when Kobe died.
That's why he just brokered.
Matter of fact, it was the I think it was the All-Star game. They were doing the All-Star game for the NFL. They were doing the flag football shit, and it came across that Kobe died, and I was like, wow.
The deal to give the Ellisons everything so that they can censor the internet in favor of this war and foreign policy that's unpopular.
Where's that happening?
Right now. It just
Where?
happened with TikTok. It just happened with Paramount.
No, TikTok, they talk about the war constantly.
Ellison
I know.
and
I'm on
Oracle-
TikTok arguing with them constantly.
Ellison and Oracle are about to have all these databases. They're going to sell all of
in
our
the
private
future
information.
soon. But you've been wrong about futures before. And by the way,
Oh,
I'm
wait a
talking
second.
about
Hold
right
on.
now.
Okay, hold on a second.
I'm talking about
Hold
right
on a
now.
second. When
I'm holding.
when Doge ended,
Yeah.
and then Musk.
Dang, Blake, I hope you get shake back, Blake. You said when Kobe passed, you cried. Man, I'm gonna tell you, Chad, I went, man, when Kobe, this what happened, Chad. I'm gonna take y'all through story time, man. Pause the show right quick. So I'm in jail, boom. We watching the game. Kobe ended up passing away, and everybody's messed up about it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's messed up about it. It's like, dang, Kobe done passed away. And we end up just going to bed that night. Like, it was like everybody was down, man. Motherfuckers just went to bed. But then they had, I think it was an All-Star game. It was some kind of basketball game where they had, was it the finals? Was it the NBA finals then? Where they had Kobe on the courts. They had like 2-4 on the courts. I think it was like the finals or something was going on then. And a damn riot broke out. A riot broke out in jail. Some YNs had stole somebody commissary, and the people that stole the commissary, I guess they had went and told or whatever, so they was all, you know, about to fight. They had like pens and pencils and shit, you know, all into it. Talking about one dude, I got swole. I'm talking about crazy swole. What do we call him? Fohawk. Fohawk got his eye swole shut. But anyways, chat, so they came in, pepper sprayed them, they was fighting and shit, and then they made everybody lie down. So I didn't even get to see the damn game. I was hurt, chat. So not only did Kobe die, and then during the damn game, and we went and watched, laid down, when they had they was honoring Kobe. That's what it was. They was honoring him. Whatever game they was honoring Kobe for, couldn't even watch that shit because these niggas done got the fighting, bro. Crazy.
Called the Epstein files a hoax and then struck Iran. I was called a panickin. I was called a panickin because I knew it meant we were getting into a war with Iran and a regime change war with Iran. I was called a panickin. I was called a panickin because if he did this, the MAGA coalition would be destroyed. And I was called a panickin because I said if he does this, we're going to lose the midterms. And now all three things of those have happened.
Except
every
you were also wrong
one.
about Venezuela.
What was I wrong about Venezuela?
In Venezuela, you said that there's a good chance there that we're going to be bogged
That's
down.
Owen Schroeder.
Never said that.
You did too.
No, I
you
did
said
not.
it on your show. Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
You said there was a good shot there. You were in a debate when you said it, in fact, with a caller. It's a good shot there would be bogged down as well.
When did?
So
What are
that's
you
what's
talking
funny
about?
to me. It's like every time I dive in to your view, it's always, well, down the road he's going to do these bad things. Down the road he's going to do this. Trump's administration hasn't censored you. Trump's administration didn't jail you. Trump's administration didn't do any of that. You just gave him credit for getting you released. And not only that, when we're talking about the economics of this thing. We diverted into this, which is fine. I think that speech is something that we need to debate about. But when we're talking about the economics, you still haven't actually told us how it is that you, Owen Schroyer, are going to make an offset for net negative migration without prices going up.
Listen, Blake, you might be the first person I've ever seen in my life spell Kobe with a C. I ain't gonna lie, Blake, I don't even know how to feel about that, man. You probably the first person in my life I've ever seen spell Kobe with a C. It's crazy.
There's going to be an
Cut taxes.
That's an adjustment period.
You can cut taxes in a year.
Do you think that prices are going to immediately decrease because you cut taxes?
Prices don't have to decrease. You have more money in your wallet. You have more money in your bank account. You're not paying it to the government.
Again, those are adjustment periods that are incremental. It would be, so if you cut taxes
Takes 1
immediately,
year. Takes 1
right?
year.
And by the way, Trump doesn't unilaterally have the power to do that. He doesn't unilaterally have the power to just cut taxes. That has to go through Congress. And so this idea that you have, one thing he did do, and he did do well, unilaterally with his executive orders, was with migration. And he did get us to the point where we're at a net negative of migration. Who would ever have given us that? Who out of
Right, I've seen Kobe with the C, but like Kobe, I mean like somebody speaking about Kobe Bryant. I've never seen someone speaking about Kobe Bryant spell his name with a C.
Anybody in the field would ever have given us net negative migration.
If Trump has a positive, it's definitely on the migration issue, but it's not perfect.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm not tripping. I know. It's all good. Blake, I was just saying, like, that's crazy. I thought it was autocorrect or something. I just was like, damn, I ain't never seen that.
Perfect. He's still giving Chinese students, he's still letting Chinese students into these universities to save their ass. He's still letting the H-1B.
50% decrease of the H-1Bs, but the Cato Institute recently said, in fact, cut down 136,000, 50% of the H-1Bs eliminated under Trump's policy. So yeah, it's true. Chinese immigrants can still come in and study under H-1B visas. 50% less of them. That's correct.
So don't you think that there should be an adjustment period, just like you said with taxes? Shouldn't there be an adjustment period for hiring Americans? Because what happened was the farmers, agriculture, all these big businesses said, Trump, we have to have this cheap migrant labor.
That's correct, yes.
And so he caved and he let the donors get what they want. That's what Trump does.
This
is a donor class administration.
In this case, not only did he not cave, but the opposite happened.
What are you talking about? He's doing mass deportation still?
No. He gave subsidies. And yes, there has, not only has there been big time deportations, but it's border crossings. It's just new ones even coming in versus self-deporting is an amazing feature at a net negative. Same with immigration internationally, which means legal immigration. So yeah, he did deal with them with subsidies. That was designed to keep the prices down. But again, if we follow your policy, which would be mine, you want them all out, right? I want all the Mexicans who are working illegally out of here.
I would say you can't, you know, there's too many, but I would say you have to do at least the 15 that came in under Biden.
Well, you want to get rid of, I want them all gone. I want all the illegal immigrants gone, don't you?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, great. So if we get all the illegal immigrants out of California.
But Trump's not doing that.
Hang on. If we get all the illegal immigrants out of California tomorrow, right, what happens to the price of produce? Does it go up or down?
Well, we need an adjustment time, Andrew.
Hey, that's my whole point. We would need an adjustment time.
So we both agree that mass deportations is a failure of the administration.
What you're dealing with right now is an adjustment time due to the. How is net negative migration a failure?
We're not getting mass deportations. That's
you
what we're
don't
talking
have
about.
to massively deport people who aren't coming in, dude. You don't have to.
They're already here.
Yes, and by the way, he's going after the criminal elements of those people first, which he's been doing. There's a net negative of them crossing into the border. If you had said day one with any Republican administration, we'd have only 1,000 border crossings a day versus 46,000 border crossings a day, you'd say it's the biggest fucking success anybody had ever seen.
How about this?
Somehow with Trump, though, Trump gets exactly that done day one, and Owen goes, well, what have you done for me lately?
What is the number that you would be happy with of deportations for Trump's 4 years?
Overall number?
Yeah.
Probably I would want to see like happy with, you said, versus what would be optimal that I'd want to see.
Let's put a reasonable but good expectation number.
I mean, I would be happy if it was the case that we had no new immigrants coming in. I think that's a massive success.
We agree that Trump has had a success. Okay. Let me answer my own question, then you can respond. Yeah. I think if Trump doesn't deport at least 15 million people, which seems like an impossibility, but they came here, we can get them out. There's strategies to
15 million. 15 million people in 3 years is crazy, bro. Like, what do you mean, Owen? Owen, you a little. Owen, are you all right, Owen?
I think 15 million. If it's less than that, I think we got a problem.
Well, the entirety of the basis for the 15 million number, you would agree with me, there's way more than 15 million illegal
probably like
immigrants
40.
Here.
Maybe.
Or 50.
Yeah.
It's very high.
Yeah.
So if it is the case that it's very high that we have this amount of illegals that are here, that's going to take a long time. And Trump has Trump has been hampered. He was moving towards this. He's been hampered in the courts, again, 3 times the amount of injunctions any other president when it comes to illegal immigration. And he's trying to unilaterally do this because Congress isn't working with him. He's hamstrung at every level. He's using executive orders to push that through. And it's been wildly successful. Wildly successful with the tools that he has. You have to say that that's successful. A net negative migration.
I've said that that's the one success, but I just
that's the big success.
I just don't think that it's going to be where it needs to be. I think that he's caved on the mass deportations, and at the end of the day, as much as both of us would like to see every single illegal immigrant.
I'm just gonna say, bro, like 15 million is crazy, bro. That's like Tony said that's 46,000 a day. Like, come on, bro, Chad. Do y'all know how chaotic it would be if they were snatching up 46,000 people a day, bro? Like, how is that even feasible? First of all, how are you gonna run up on 46,000 people? When they get those glasses, though, when ICE gets the biometric glasses that can read and shit, it'll probably ramp up. But how are they even gonna process that many people out? How are you gonna process 46,000 people out every day? You're not. You're just not.
Reported, I think that the
But if
bigger
they are,
issue,
the prices are going to go up, right?
I think that you can negate that by not getting them into another war in
Through
the
an
Middle East.
adjustment. The war in the Middle East, are you kidding me? You think that that's the budget buster in comparison?
Absolutely. He's asking for
to
$1.5 trillion in the next defense budget.
Nothing.
We pay $1 trillion in interest on our debt.
Do you know what our entitlements are in comparison
Cut them
to
all.
military spending?
Cut
but
them
that's
all.
my whole point. When we're talking about entitlements, the number one spending, not military. That's one.
I think
the second,
I think interest is about to take entitlements.
Well, maybe, but the number one spending right now is entitlements is 3 times higher than military spending. 3 times higher. Most of those entitlements are coming in because of illegal immigration and mass migration. You know this. I've heard you say it yourself.
I have a zero tolerance for any welfare.
Yeah, I've heard you say it yourself. So if that's the case, You're not going to be able to do this without a transitory period where prices go up.
It's been a
when
year.
you see all of
It's
these
been over a
jobs,
year.
first of all, real wage growth have gone up 1.3% because the jobs are finally going to
The
Americans.
economy's bad. You can throw numbers every day. The economy is bad. More Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
Are real
More
wages
Americans-
up?
This is the thing, bro. They don't want any government assistance for individuals at all. And this is the problem that I kind of have with the Republicans and the GOP. It's like y'all, a lot of them people don't want any assistance. Not only do they have probably some family members that's getting some form of government assistance, they claim they don't want any assistance, right? But when it comes to small business or businesses, they're all for that assistance, right? But we know that 9 out of 10 businesses fail. Most businesses are not successful. Most businesses are not sustained. Most businesses shut the fuck down and close their doors. So we'll blow that money, just pour that shit out of the window, but have a problem with government assistance to individuals. It's crazy.
Up or
in
down?
debt. Down.
Okay, so how far down are they?
They're as down as they've ever been.
They're as down as they've ever been, ladies and gentlemen.
Anybody can cook these numbers. We
These
just saw the Biden
wages are
administration.
as down as they've ever been. No, the wages are up.
Are you going to
1.3%
tell?
real
Are you going to
wages.
tell Americans that they're doing good financially?
I didn't say there's not room for improvement. We're talking about whether or not Trump is successful. I think that Americans would be doing worse if real wages were at net negative like they were under Biden.
This is
yes,
where we-
and that real wages have gone up 1.3%. It's a major thing.
And
We're
cost
at
of living
the-
has gone up 2.3%.
And guess what? That'll go down when you get rid of mass migration
We're at the
and immigrants.
The conclusion of the open dialogue. Gentlemen, thank you very much. That was a riveting open discussion.
I think we take questions.
Yeah, I know. They're just fine.
By the way, that's how a gentleman debates. So
That was truly amazing. And we'd like you folks in a few minutes to get ready for the Q&A, as that'll go for 30 minutes. But first, want you to get ready for some groundbreaking news from Farm Easy Bank, a sponsor of this event. And clash of ideas, it's important to remember that the most important battle you'll ever face is the one happening inside your own body right now. Most people don't have to remind you.
We're the borders of this place.
For the Q&A, it's absolutely essential. We want to press you to get to your question as fast as possible, and no double questions. No, I've got to. With that, I'm also even going to hold the microphone just to be sure. With that, thank you very much, Rachel.
Okay, so since this is going to be disingenuously framed as Andrew loves Epstein now, I just want to say many of you were very happy about a lot of Owen's points on Epstein, and I am too, and Andrew did make clear we don't think he's good. We don't think pedophilia is good. Given that, since there are 30 to 40,000 girls 15 and under each year getting married in Iran, and there are 2.3 million girls and women living in Iran right now who were married before they turned 15. And this was not the case before this regime took over. There were 18 and up marriage laws prior to 1979. If we can get rid of this regime and the regime change eliminates this child marriage in the millions, would that be worth it to you, all of you who are upset about the Epstein files? Would that be something that you would support?
Well, I'd have to know what the worth it payoff is. No, I'm inclined to say no too. I'm inclined to say no too because Iran is not my country. We've been in the Middle East for decades, for my entire life.
So we only care about pedophilia when it's here. We don't care about 2.3 million children being married off to old men in Iran.
I care about fixing my country first, and I feel that our presence in the Middle East has not resulted in anything positive.
So then at least be honest that it's not about pedophilia.
It's not.
You do not care about pedophilia whatsoever. You're just ass mad. That's bullshit.
Well, if you want to change Iran, I'm sure that they'll take you over there. You can go over there and fight the regime change war of the administration.
I'm just being honest, though, Chad. Where is regime change work, bro? We did regime change quite a few times. Where's regime change stopped anything?
If you care so much about
No,
it.
the point is.
No, I didn't. No.
The point is consistency. If the entirety of the consistency is if Trump isn't actively going after pedophiles, he's supporting pedophiles.
Has
then
that
hang on,
been- has that ever been a
hang
statement
on,
about this
hang
war?
on,
He's
hang
never
on.
mentioned that Iran
Hang
are
on, let me make
pedophiles.
the point. If that is the case, well, why does he need to mention a thing that's known? But anyway, if it is the case that it's not consistent, hey, man, if Trump isn't actively going after what I think is a U.S. pedophile ring that I can't even prove exists, then he's supporting pedophiles. But over in Iran, we literally see him blowing them up. Where's the consistency there, man?
He blew up 200 school children. Nobody has mentioned fighting pedophilia as part of this war. It's a regime change war for Israel to get control of the Middle East. That's what this is all about. And so, no, I don't support that. I'd
Are
like
the
to fix my own
Iranians,
country.
is it
Iranians
institutional?
bad. Iranians bad.
Is it
Iranians bad.
institutional to the? Is it institutional? Is it institutional to the Iranians under Sharia law that they're allowed to marry
I'll tell you
kids
what,
or not?
When every American has a backyard,
I'll tell you what.
a
Answer the
backyard
question.
barbecue pit and a pool, then we can go
Yeah,
police the world.
Can you answer the question? Is it the case that institutionally Sharia allows you to marry children or not?
I'm not interested in Sharia. I don't want it in my
Can
country.
you answer my
I'm sick of
question? Can
talking
you
about it.
answer the question, Owen?
Yes, Sharia is
Yes.
bad. I don't like Sharia. I
Yes.
condemn
Okay.
Korea.
So then the idea that she has is in fact the case. She's talking about consistency. If Trump is covering for
No, it's
pedophiles
different.
by not
No.
arresting who you think are
No.
pedophiles with no evidence.
All right, let's ask the chat. Is Trump covering up for pedophiles, chat? Is Trump covering up for PDFs? Yes or no? Is Trump covering up for PDFs? Double tap the screen, chat. We're 7 likes away from 400. Let's get the 400 likes right quick. Make sure you check the top, the 3 dots, and make sure you have the like button hit. We're also hold on. We're also 7 subscribers away from the next sub goal. We're 7 subscribers away from 47,400. Let's hit that next sub goal as well.
Then you're supporting pedophiles by not letting him kill them in Iran.
It's different. It's my
It's
country.
Josh said, get some sleep, bro. I am after I eat this plate right here, Chad. I got a biscuit gravy with some sausage and bacon and a cheese egg on top, man. And a cheese egg on top. After I eat this, Chad, y'all know I get real little after I eat, man. Y'all know what time it is after I eat on the show. I get to getting real little.
Country versus Iran. Okay, I live in America. I want to fix America. If you want to fix Iran, go to the Middle East. Nobody's stopping you.
It's not about fixing Iran. It's about the consistency of your logical position, which is not
So
logical.
it's not about fixing Iran, but that's the entire basis of your
It's
state.
not a logical position to say, oh, I'll oppose it in this one hand, and if Trump doesn't do that, he's supporting it. But on the other hand, if I take us away from killing them in Iran, that's not him supporting pedophilia. It's bizarre.
You want to go one more time?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. You got it.
Hey, how are you doing? So wouldn't being successful on at least your primary promise of a thing be considered success?
No.
No. Okay.
If I hit 1 home run in a 10-inning game and we lose, that's not a success.
So, is it the case, though, that Trump has been hugely successful when it comes to mass migration? He has been successful in that arena, and that was one of his #1 promises.
What's up, Hannah?
I said yes. I
Yes.
said that that's been a success.
Yes.
That's one of, like, if there's 10 issues,
But
one of
that's
10.
all negated by a 7-week war.
It's a separate issue, and he's failed.
All right. First, Andrew Wilson. I first learned about the Orthodox Church from you, and my family and I were just baptized into the church this past Christmas. Christ is risen. Second, Owen, you've made a lot of comments about prosecutions and reducing taxes, all while neglecting the fact that these require 2 other branches of government working with Trump. The judiciary branch has consistently blocked him and almost every single move he's made, and it's had to go to the Supreme Court I don't know how many times. Meanwhile, Congress, no thanks to Republicans in Congress, by the way, have dragged their feet on almost every single issue. So why are you putting all the responsibility on Trump when we've got 2 other branches of government?
Well, Trump appointed the Attorney General, and she failed him. So he did that. He appointed that. So I don't know.
It's not the judiciary, dude.
So I don't know what.
He's asking about the judiciary of radical judges, which have blocked Trump every chance they get. It was so bad, in fact, that the Supreme Court finally had to step in and say, look, sorry, California, you can't set immigration policy for the rest of the country.
Do you believe these judges are corrupt?
Many of them, yes.
So then why don't we do something about corruption?
Because in this case, corruption is a matter of spectrum between political ideology. The Democrats believe that they're doing something which is well within the purview of federal judges to do. And it was within their purview to do until that was recently constitutionally lifted by the Supreme Court, who said federal judges in California can't anymore say, hey, Texas, this is going to be the new standard for immigration law. They were blocking Texas immigration law in radical courts in California, dude. He's been hamstrung at every level by the judiciary. 100% that's true. The Supreme Court, which he appointed, he's had massive victories there.
Well, not according to him recently. But I just find it amazing that the Biden administration can make thousands of prosecutions and arrests within months, but this administration can't do anything about Epstein clients or about the deep state.
Thousands of arrests of who?
Myself and January 6th defendants.
Yeah, so they were able to utilize the power of the media to paint all of you guys as being violent extremist insurrectionists in order to get the public on their side. In this particular case, not only Democrats, but on your side, people have weaponized the media instead to paint Trump out as though he's part of some pedophilic satanic elite, thus getting the one thing he always had in his teeth was the media. And you guys have done everything you can to take that away through this obfuscation.
Hey, Chad, they always say, why did Nick Fuentes get arrested for J6, man? Do y'all feel like that's weird, Chad? I never really thought too much into it. Do y'all think it's weird Nick Fuentes didn't get arrested for J6?
Of Epstein and the Epstein files. When we have way bigger fish to fry in domestic policy for sure, and you still don't even have any evidence of any of those claims, which is wild.
This is for Owen. So if Trump could only do one thing that would make you change your mind, would you rather him act more on the E-files or where we're currently at with Iran? Which one is a bigger issue?
Oh, y'all say he wasn't there.
I would say probably bring the troops home, generally speaking. Bring them all home. And I think you win the midterms if you do that. I think you save face with everything. If you come out tomorrow and you say we're done in the Middle East and we're bringing all of our troops home, I think you sweep the midterms.
This is mainly for both of y'all. I just want to ask, how can we get our economy to rebound after the negative effects of the tariffs, especially on American manufacturing workers? I myself actually work at a industrial plant that produces grinding wheels for brakes. In our business, we had to increase prices a lot because costs of raw materials went up a lot because it was harder to import them because all the chromium and manganese comes from China.
Sure.
So I'm wondering, like...
Shit, they said he did a speech on January 6th. Where the hell was he at? He testified. United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. The group is led by Nick Fuentes. Select committee subpoenas Nick J. Fuentes and Patrick Casey.
What is y'all's stance on how we could get the economy back and get the prices back down?
Well, I was a big fan and still am of tariffs. What the tariffs were used for, people get it wrong all the time. They think that it was just willy-nilly. It wasn't. What happens is if you have the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, so this means that these are tax-free imports and exports. So if Canada imports a bunch of stuff from China, who we have a 25% tariff on, and then just labels it Canada, don't they avoid any of our tariffs, the Chinese? Yes. So what that is it's closing back doors by putting tariffs on westernized nations. And there's no possible way, by the way, for you to raise revenue in the United States. You only have two ways to do it: taxes or tariffs. So Harris's idea was that she was going to get rid of the corporate tax breaks, and that was going to drastically increase prices because it has to. Trump's idea was that he was going to fight a tariff war with potential future enemies and people who are adversaries with us on the global stage now. You'd pick your poison. Which one would you want to see?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I think Andrew and I would probably agree with most these issues. I'm a little concerned about that you talk about your company specifically is so reliant on China. You know, this is something, whether it's Trump or the next president or Biden, all of our presidents have been put into a deep ditch because our Congress has sold us out to mostly West Asia, China. That's why everything is made over there. So now we're basically reliant. These minerals you're talking about, rare earth minerals, we're basically reliant. Pharmaceuticals, we're extremely reliant. And that's because Congress for the last 20, 30 years has completely sold us out.
Through bribes and kickbacks, by the way.
And so we're screwed on that deal. I would say I support tariffs too. I would agree with Andrew that I support tariffs. The problem that the president has, and he did get screwed, I think, by the Supreme Court on this deal.
He did.
But the problem that you have is we have so many corporate taxes, we have so many regulations. It's like you're already so deep in the hole. You talk about your company. What I'd like for President Trump to do, since the tariffs look like they're not going to work now, I'd like to see him get corporate tax rates as low as possible. I'd like to see him. Remember when he came in the first administration, he had that big display and he cut the red tape and it was getting rid of all this regulation. I think that that's the best plan right now. I think we just have to get rid of as much regulation as possible, get rid of the corporate tax rates as much as possible. And that is one that you can mostly blame on the Democrats, but the Republicans went along for the ride.
Trump extended his tax cuts and is going to continue to the extension of tax cuts. Not only that, he does want to get them lower. When he's talking about regulation, especially as we dive into this, you have to remember a couple things. The first thing is that he did get screwed on the tariffs, okay? The best thing on planet Earth would have been for him to continue to raise revenue through tariffs. That way you can lower taxes. But how are you going to raise revenue, man? How are you going to raise revenue without tax increases or tariffs? You can't do it.
Can I make a suggestion, actually? What I'd like to see is I'd like a policy that...
Okay, the best thing on planet Earth would have been for him to continue to raise revenue through tariffs. That way you can lower taxes. But how are you going to raise revenue, man? How are you going to raise revenue without tax increases or tariffs? You can't do it.
Can I make a suggestion, actually? What I'd like to see is I'd like a policy that if you're going to come here and work, whatever money you're going to send overseas, we're going to tax that at least 50%.
Yeah, remittances.
Honestly, I'd tax it at 80%.
But remittances will do hardly anything. That's the problem.
But
even
you know
if you
what?
tax
But
those
it might
remittances.
not change much financially, Andrew, but people will stop doing it. They'll either stop coming here or they're going to stop sending the money home because we're just going to keep it.
People would still work in the United States. Illegal immigrants would still come in here even if you had a 10% tax on remittances because it's still way more money than they're going to be making.
Then I'd go
in all
80%.
nations. Yeah, but you're never going to get 80% through. And that's not the thing Trump can unilaterally do. Again, you'd have to have both houses. In this case, at least Congress would have to act on that. So I love the idea of remittances.
We had Congress for a minute. We had Congress for a minute, and now...
Yeah.
But could you say that just the money being made due to the large amounts of goods we have to import from China, could that also boost it? Because China, they are far too big of an industrial power for us to just cut off. They produce half the world's steel.
Yeah.
They have 4 times our population, and their industry has been expanding rapidly for
That's
around
what the
70
tariff
years.
war was for.
Yeah, I
the
agree
tariff
with that.
war was designed to weaken the Chinese economy as much as possible. And Democrats and some of the never-Trumpers and some of the Republicans who don't like Trump really went after him for tariffs because they made the same argument. Well, good prices are going to increase. Yes, of course they are. But what's the alternative? If you have Kamala Harris comes in and she takes out the corporate tax, right? The corporate tax decrease, your prices of your goods still increase, except now you're not weakening your global adversary. So it's like, which poison you want to pick?
I would say too, if there's one thing, if you're gonna look an American in the eye and say, hey, we have a transitory period, they say this thing, short-term pain for long-term gain. That's probably the only one where I would look them straight in the eye and say, I'm square with you. If you need to do these tariffs to try to rebalance the global market and that hurts us for maybe a year and we can start producing steel, we can start bringing some manufacturing back, bringing Main Street back, that would be something that I would say, okay, Americans would believe in that cause, but the whole thing's been turned over by the Supreme Court now. So,
Hey guys, thank you for introducing me into orthodoxy.
You're welcome.
How
many people have I
a
introduced
preacher
to
up here.
orthodoxy?
Yeah. Bring out the holy water. Come on.
A question for both of y'all. I'm noticing a lot with foreign policy, especially in the last 50 years. I see myself asking this question: what kind of America do we want to be? Do we want to stay to our imperialistic roots, which is based from like the Spanish-American War, our acquiring of Philippines, Guam, Grenada? Do we still want to be that imperialistic power in the world, which I'm totally down for?
I don't consider it an imperial power, but a hegemonic power. And I think that that's the proper context. Americans are not imperialist and never have been. We don't have an empire, a traditional empire like what you'd see with the British Empire, things like this. We're a hegemon. And the United States will brook nobody messing with their hegemon status. And when you guys think about it, I know how that sounds. You go, wait a second, I don't care for a hegemon. Yes, you do. Oh, yeah, you do. You care a great deal if you're a hegemon. You just don't know that you care a great deal if you're a hegemon. But let me just ask it to you this way. If it was the case that you could pick between two lives, the one life is there's a guy who lives up on a hill who has everything and can kick the holy shit out of you, and you could be that guy, or the guy he kicks the shit out of. Which way you rolling, man? Tell me. You want to be the guy on the hill. So
I think I agree directionally, but I feel like Americans are the ones getting their ass kicked right now. You know, that's the problem. I feel like Americans... What?
By who?
By our own government.
Oh, well, okay. Hang on. Yes, inside of a hegemonic...
I do want to just speed up the Q&A, just slightly.
Yeah, very quickly. I'll just say, I agree with that. Yes, of course, especially from Democrats and progressives. They beat the holy shit out of the private sector in the worst way possible. I guess what I'm saying is directionally to answer your question when you're talking...
All right, chat, that's enough of that, man. That's enough of that, chat. We finna get into the just chatting part, man. If y'all got any questions, anything y'all want to ask me or talk about, now's the time, man. I ate my biscuits and gravy with the sausage, man. Yeah. So y'all know what time it is, man. Andrew won. Yeah, who won, chat? All right, Regina. Welcome in, Regina. Who do y'all think won that debate? No, I didn't get there from the Waffle House either, y'all. I didn't get there from the Waffle House. That's from a food truck. Yeah, that's from a food truck right there. Yeah, Mars. Yeah. You said I think you stole everything. What did I steal? Good night, Brianna. I don't know, chat. This is crazy what's going on right now. It's gonna be a wild week ahead. A wild week ahead, man. I don't know. What else do they have planned this week? What else is going on this week? Oh, everybody's waiting on Nick to come back. Everybody's waiting on Candace and Sneeko and Ian. They all took a hiatus. What else is going on this week, chat? Yeah, they'll probably get ready to do something on the 1st. What's up, Tinky? Yeah, I did see Sneeko get his tooth knocked out. He probably going to get that fixed. Yeah, he's probably going to get that fixed. I'm not gonna lie, chat. We had a good stream, man. I had fun here tonight. Andrew uses logic, Owens uses but my feelings. Yeah, I don't think Owen was as prepared. He had like some good talking points, like, but he didn't go really past surface level. It was like he had the talking point, but he didn't have any bullet points to back him up. It's like in the bullet points he did use to back him up again were like talking points. But yeah. Dilution of the gas, yeah, they already cutting that gas. They stepping on that gas. They stepping on it. Cutting the hell out of that shit. Well, look, chat, man, we finna get up out of here. We will be back tomorrow night, man. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. If you're watching this on the playback, be sure to comment throughout, man. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Good night, chat.